Chapter 321, Farewell 3. As soon as I hear that name, I feel my body freeze. Yu Hao Te, the true immortal likely connected directly to the true devil realm or the blood yin realm. A colossal presence that might even be related to Hyeonium reveals themselves before my eyes. I ask with a trembling voice. Why have you called me? However, Yu Hao Te's answer is unexpected. I have no particular intentions. Pardon, we tribunal members are not only judges who judge the dead but also record keepers. I simply enjoy meeting noble beings and recording their stories. You are one of those noble beings, so I wanted to meet you. The shadow sits under the Melia tree and gestures. Come, sit here, let's have a chat. I have a feeling that the shadow is smiling. It isn't the sinister smile of Hyeonium, the madness-filled grin of the Mad Lord, or the masked smile of Seo Weo. It's a truly clear smile. From that smile, I get that feeling. I kneel before him. Although I could have sat cross-legged or comfortably, I feel I have to show respect to the being in front of me. It isn't because he is a great being, but rather out of a sense of propriety. I can't help but feel compelled to kneel before the character emanating from him. What kind of story would you like to hear? Just about you. Although I can no longer record since I'm already annihilated, listening to stories is one of my hobbies. I don't understand and ask. I understand you are a being beyond a true immortal. You seem to have consciousness too, why don't you revive? Haha, I only realized after death. Eternal rest is quite a blessing. The heavenly venerable of the underworld created the wheel of reincarnation to give everyone another chance and to achieve their purpose, but perhaps the words of the heavenly venerable of the void, who opposed him, were right. Eternal annihilation is, in itself, an infinite blessing. Quote. It's hard to understand, but at the same time, it seems understandable. Drip. Tears start to flow without me realizing it. Why, I feel immense envy seeing Yu Hao Te rejoice in annihilation. Besides, from your perspective, it might seem like I could resurrect, but that's not the case. I have already died to them. There is no way I can resurrect. The me you are meeting now is just a part of my memory, a lingering image that will dissipate over time. Quote. Who is them? I can't say. Mentioning them will make them notice this place. The light will immediately break in. I wish to enjoy my last memory in peace without disturbance from the light. Quote. I won't ask any more. I feel fear and erase my question about them from my mind. Quote. This is a beautiful place. Where are we? I look down at the flower field spread out under the Melia tree and ask. This is the edge of the domain of the Sal tree heavenly venerable. I came here before with my sister Su Ryan. The Melia tree, which my friend Hainyun likes, was brought from here. It's the tree that sealed my karmic fire. If it's the domain of a heavenly venerable, well, no need to be too uneasy. After all, this is just a scene from my memory, and the Sal Tree Great King is fundamentally a kind and generous person. Since they are also a friend of my sister, they won't have any issues with you being here through my power. Quote. Thank you. Yu Hao Te relieves my anxiety about getting involved with a great being and shares a conversation with me. I share my entire life with him. Except for the regression part, I share the various events that happened in my life. After listening to my story from beginning to end, Yu Hao Te leans against the Melia tree and laughs. You've lived a good life. It's a life with many shortcomings. I haven't achieved anything, changed anything, or accomplished any great deeds. That's what life is. You've done well enough. Quote. For some reason, that single statement almost makes me burst into tears. In front of Yu Hao Te, I somehow feel like a child. It feels like my life has been acknowledged. However, I do not cry. You can cry in front of me. Quote. My life still remains, so I'll save the tears for later. When will you cry? When I'm certain that I can end my life. Is that so? Then you'll cry soon. I'm not sure. I smile bitterly. My life still has a long way to go. Is that so? Yu Hao Te nods. That's good too. Then I'll be off. Although he said he wanted to have a conversation, in truth, apart from a few initial questions, he mostly listened to my life story. I didn't reveal the regression or that I'm an ender, but just talking about general things made me feel relieved. Perhaps this is the mercy given to me for repenting my sins. Yu Hao Te watches me stand up and reaches out his hand. Since we met like this, I'll give you some gifts. Are you dispelling the karmic fire? Of course not. The karmic fire attached to you is your responsibility to bear. What I will give you are two things that seem to suit someone who craves life like you. Thank you for keeping an old man company. Wo Wang. He reaches out his hand into the void. At the same time, the entire flower field ripples. Pot. Then, the shadow of Yu Haotai, who has reached into the void, begins to shake and soon develops cracks all over his body as if he will shatter. Are you alright? Why worry about someone already annihilated? The living should live with a smile. Swoosh. As he pulls his hand out from the void, he holds a cluster of light in his hand. No, this is a flower. Looking closely, it isn't light but a flower. It's just so bright that I mistook it for a cluster of light. It's a flower called the soul-bearing flower, Hun Shenghua. Using this, you can come back to life once after death. Keep it with you. This is. I just stole it from the real domain of the Sal Tree Heavenly Venerable, so using it in the living world might get you caught. Since an elder might run wild, be sure to use it only after you've died. Quote. Thank you. I express my deep gratitude to Yu Haotai. Yu Haotai waves at me with a clear smile. Farewell. I bow to him and turn around. Surururu. Then, the surrounding flower field disappears, and I find myself once again by the lakeside of the Melia tree in the care layer. Single quote. Wait, didn't he say he would give me 2 gifts? At that moment, I see a bucketful of lake water rising in front of my eyes. Chuaruruk. The rising lake water pours over me and then wraps around me, transforming into a solid barrier that protects my entire body. Ah, I see. Yu Haotai had used his power to give me a piece of clear scale armor. As soon as the cold water of the clear scale armor touches my body, I feel a sense of reality returning. Pot. Chia. Quote. Exclamation mark quote. Once again, I feel the flames of karmic fire burning my soul. But I ignore it and turn around. Sio Whale is still writhing in pain. Even for Sio Whale, the pain of the karmic fire appears unbearable. No, perhaps it's even more painful precisely because it's Sio Whale. Does it hurt, Sio Whale? Quote. It seems you are not in pain. He asks back, forcing a smile by manipulating his facial muscles. I sneer at him and say, it feels like I'm going to die. As expected, the karmic fire is painful for even you. I suppose so. Now then, shall we continue what we were doing earlier? Sounds great. With a forced grin and enduring his groans, Sio Whale speaks. The woman I saw was wearing white and holding a jade norige. Quote. What? Is it because of the pain from the karmic fire? Or because the person he mentioned is so unexpected? I am momentarily taken aback. Sio Whale's description points to someone I know very well. Buk Hyonghwa. It's definitely her. Why is she in my canvas of myriad forms and connections? But then, I flinch. Sio Whale's reptilian eyes are staring directly straight into mine. A bright smile spreads across Sio Whale's face, a smile unlike anything I have ever seen before. As expected. Quote. Exclamation mark quote. She seems to be someone precious to you, Taoist Sio. Chiak. Sio Whale's arm moves, pointing the eyeball on his arm at me. You, this bastard, Ziying. But before I can continue speaking, Sio Whale's brainwashing wave strikes me. Empowered by the pain of the karmic fire, I collapse to my knees under the force of his brainwashing. Sio Whale grins with satisfaction. I have discovered the weakness of the GRADE2 dangerous entity Sio Unyun. Just as Sio Unyun had injected a truth serum into Sio Whale's brain to make it easier to read his intent, Sio Whale had used the pain of the karmic fire to induce a reaction from Sio Unyun. Facing this pain, even someone with strong mental fortitude will inevitably show a gap. Sio Unyun believed Sio Whale was poisoned, but he underestimated the devilish arts of the Blood Yin realm. Moving regardless of the poison by burning his life force. For Sio Whale, it's an easy task. But now, there is a problem with his situation. I can't connect with tainted soul filling the heavens. Currently, Sio Whale can only converse with the remaining 10 versions of himself that he absorbed through Blood Yin returning home, who were separated by the immortal art tainted soul filling the heavens to confront Sio Unyun. Even those few Sio Whales are now reduced to about 7 after using the brainwashing waves. Sio Whale quickly exchanges opinions. We cannot connect to the tainted soul filling the heavens. The Grade 2 dangerous entity has infused the Heart Tribe's power, making the connection impossible. If I consume a few more, Mies, is overcoming it still impossible? It's possible, but as a secondary issue, what will we do about the karmic fire? Indeed, if I, contaminated with karmic fire, connect to tainted soul filling the heavens, I might be annihilated by the karmic fire. It is desirable to let only the me here be extinguished. There's even a risk of causing hollow square to be annihilated. It's not just a risk, there's a high probability that hollow square will be affected. The discussion of CO whales finally reach a conclusion. For now, let's escape from here and transmit the information to the nearest me, using a signal or voice rather than tainted soul filling the heavens. That's the best solution at the moment. Kududugak, CO whale, poisoned by Hong Fan's venom, moves his body using devilish arts and leaps through the hole CO Unyun had created with a smile. Stop right there. From behind, the Ghost King CO Li with his 18 heads roaring chases after CO whale. Quite grotesque indeed, Taoist CO. CO whale smiles faintly with a grin and extends his hand. Demon ability. Grand Ocean Thousand Li Pearl. 300 million Jin Sweetwater Peach. Chuarururu. A massive prison of water engulfs CO Li, and the weight of the water becomes overwhelmingly heavy. However, curses soon blacken the water, and CO whale's demon ability explodes in the void, turning into ink droplets. Quarurururu. It appears as though it's raining black ink. CO whale, almost reaching the water flow layer, forms another hand seal. Demon ability. Dragon Sea Exceeding Ascension. A massive sea dragon-shaped water column coils around him. Quack. Hong Fan, approaching CO whale, swings his claws. As the dark poison energy touches the seawater turns into a mist, scattering the mirage. As the curse and poison spreads everywhere, CO whale's body begins to rot. Tatat. Despite his condition, CO whale forces his body to move and runs towards the entrance of the water flow layer. Almost there. Just a little more. Demon ability. Dragon Flowing River, Long Lue, Korerararik. A dragon-shaped stream is summoned beneath CO whale's feet. He rides the stream, crossing the water flow layer. It's right ahead. Then, CO whale feels an overwhelming sense of foreboding engulf his entire body. What is this? It's ominous, Shang. The body CO whale is currently possessing belonged to a cultivator from the Heaven tribe, a disciple of the mystical scaled fish commanding sect. Thus, he can see celestial energy, and in his foresight, he sees immense misfortune along with CO Unyun chasing him from behind. Has the GRADE2 dangerous entity already regained his mind? Throb, throb, I shake off the remnants of CO whale's brainwashing wave. My head is throbbing, but despite CO whale's attack, a smile doesn't leave my lips. CO whale, you are truly a tree that doesn't stop giving. The informational construct CO whale left behind before leaving my body. I had struggled to interpret this construct, but thanks to CO whale's brainwashing wave, the construct was completely interpreted. The informational construct is something CO whale had left in my head after seeing something in my canvas of myriad forms and connections that caused his head to turn into salt, inflicting a fatal injury. Unable to handle the toxicity from what he saw, CO whale left it in my head. However, I was able to interpret and accept the informational construct. This is because the toxicity of the information was weakened through the filter of CO whale. Of course, I can feel that it's a degraded version compared to the original. It's a kind of deteriorated version through CO whale. However, as a degraded version, it no longer has the side effect of turning me into salt upon recognition, making it a perfect formula for me. The name of this formula, which I have longed for endlessly, is the Great Mountain Splitting Emperor Technique. CO whale had thrown this formula into my head and left without acquiring the knowledge himself. Wo Wang, I move the Qi according to the formula's operation. Attraction force envelops my hands. Pot, Kugwagwang, I become a streak of light, piercing through the care layer and the Dao departure layer, landing in the water flow layer. I can see CO whale fleeing in the distance. For some reason, I feel a salty taste inside my mouth. No, salt is actually sprouting from my arms. It isn't as severe as when I saw it in the head realm, or when CO whale saw something in the canvas of myriad forms and connections, but the degraded Great Mountain Splitting Emperor technique also turns parts of my body into salt. Of course, this isn't enough to be fatal, it's to a degree that I can regenerate from sufficiently. CO Li, even before I speak, CO Li senses my intention and is already by my side. CO Li possesses my body. With my left hand, CO Li casts the Yin Soul Ghost incantation. With my right hand, I activate the White Orchid Blessing incantation. Korerararik, in his true form, Hong Fan quickly crawls under me, lifts me up, and starts chasing CO whale. Wing, drawing on the power of black and white in both hands, I recite an invocation. Great Mountain Tai Shan, ho ho, ho ha ho ho, a house wu of yin-yang and 5 elements beings to form around Seo Whale. Splitting Emperor, Li Di. Simultaneously, Seo Whale extends his arm towards me. I can feel it, zing. Seo Whale seems to be trying to neutralize the Great Mountain Splitting Emperor technique by emitting brainwashing waves, consuming his own personas in the process. And for some unknown reason, the Great Mountain Splitting Emperor technique feels neutralized when it touches his brainwashing wave. Countless questions cross Seo Whale's mind. Just how? Why? The mountain god's power all of a sudden. I must neutralize it. If I don't neutralize it, I will die. If I can somehow convey the CLASS2 dangerous entity's weakness to tainted soul filling the heavens, I win. The Great Mountain Splitting Emperor technique inherently affects the consciousness and the soul. If I sacrifice my persona as an offering, it will disintegrate my persona instead of disintegrating me. I will emit my persona to neutralize it. Wo Wang. Seo Whale emits the remaining 6 brainwashing waves. All 6 personas scatter, neutralizing the Great Mountain Splitting Emperor technique. However, Seo Whale clicks his tongue. This is not enough. He can feel the madness and determination of the CLASS2 dangerous entity, Seo Unyun. He is concentrating his power. The will to catch Seo Whale no matter what. However, Seo Whale laughs. This is quite frightening. But, Taoist Seo, he sees Seo Unyun chasing him from behind. Seo Unyun, who hasn't fully retracted all 18 of his heads due to hastily possessing, chases after Seo Whale while riding a house-sized centipede, creating a bizarre sight. However, instead of trembling with fear, Seo Whale smiles faintly and says, "Shouldn't you pay a little more attention to your own subordinates?" Freeze. Simultaneously, Hong Fan, who is carrying Seo Unyun, comes to a sudden halt. Although not much time has passed since we met, and the configuration hasn't fully controlled the mind. According to his calculations, he should have bought around half a tea time, 7 minutes. Quaduduk. Taking advantage of Hong Fan's halt, Seo Whale breaks through the house of Yin Yang and 5 elements and escapes from the attack range of the Great Mountain Splitting Emperor technique. However, a menacing voice is heard from behind. "You trash! How dare you commit such a treacherous act against not only me but also my master?" Huh. Seo Whale's eyes twitch. What? The brainwashing didn't work. Hong Fan only paused for about a second before he resumed chasing Seo Whale while carrying Seo Unyun, unaffected. Seo Whale has no choice but to be a bit flustered. No, the brainwashing that affected the mind has moved, somewhere else. It feels like pouring water into a bottomless jar. Seo Whale tries to communicate with his mental configuration within Hong Fan's mind. But he feels an unfathomable abyss and immediately cuts off the connection. It doesn't matter. I'm getting out now. Tot. Seo Whale sprints with all his might and finally reaches the outside of the storage scroll. He arrives at the illusion formation. Pot. Using the flying escape technique, Seo Whale soars into the sky. He tries to jump outside the illusion formation. And at that moment, Clench, Seo Unyun, now with 19 heads, grabs Seo Whale's leg. "Where do you think you're going, Seo Whale? Don't we have some scores to settle? You're quite persistent, Taoist Seo." Seo Whale smiles faintly and, without hesitation, severs his lower body. Quack, wriggle, wriggle, the heads of Ghost King Seo Li crawl out, opening their mouths to catch Seo Whale. But Seo Whale is faster by a split second. Pot. Finally, Seo Whale succeeds in completely escaping from the storage scroll. Quack. Seo Whale, who has emerged from the celestial pond, pants heavily as he hastily begins drawing a spell formation on the ground with his own blood. I can't connect directly to tainted soul filling the heavens. It's impossible because of the CLASS2 dangerous entities heart tribe method and the karmic fire. Before Seo Unyun catches up, I need to send a signal at least vocally. Wuduk. Seo Whale stops his hand while drawing the spell formation. The dead earth domain is an endless desert. At night, darkness fills the sky, but during the day, light scorches the entire land. There couldn't be any shadows anywhere. However, for some reason, Seo Whale feels that it's dark around him. Seo Whale, sensing an overwhelming feeling of ominousness from the heaven tribe body's senses, looks up at the sky with a blank expression. A wonderfully mysterious fortress is floating there. An all too familiar voice echoes from the wonderfully mysterious fortress. "Oh tilde, who do we have here? Isn't it our little cutie snake scorpion king?" Quote. Ha, ha ha, mad old man. With a face as stiff as wood, Sia Whale forces a smile. May I contact someone for just a moment? No, who are you trying to contact with me right here in front of you? Gritting his teeth, Sia Whale frantically tries to complete the spell formation. To the tainted soul filling the heavens, to the tainted soul filling the heavens. I must register Seo Unyun's weakness. Then, a clicking sound is heard from the wonderfully mysterious fortress, and one of the massive cannons attached to it aims at Seo Whale. Finally, our ill-fated connection comes to an end. To my lifelong rival, this mad Lord Zhou Yian pays his respect. She says the same. Now, then, wait, old man, wait, a colossal light fills between heaven and earth. Ah, Seo Whale lets out a hollow laugh. I must inform the weakness. He is engulfed by the light. Having realized Seo Unyun's weakness, Seo Whale closes his eyes for the last time, hearing the voice of the Mad Lord. Farewell. Chapter 322. Farewell 4. Kugugugu. Dead Earth Domain. In front of the celestial pond leading to Lofty Dragon True Person's storage scroll. An earthquake is occurring at the center of that place. It's thanks to a small beam of light shot from the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Chi. The Mad Lord strokes his chin as he looks down. That snake scorpion bastard. Did I finally get rid of him? The Mad Lord mumbles as he observes the situation below through the crystal screen inside the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Only ashes remain where Seo Whale had stood. The Mad Lord squints. He wipes his face with his hand as he sits in the control chair of the wonderfully mysterious fortress. I killed him. One way or another, the Mad Lord and Seo Whale considered each other as arch-enemies. For the Mad Lord, Seo Whale was the only one who could rival him, and for Seo Whale, the matchup was exceedingly unfavorable. Perhaps because of this, having killed Seo Whale, the Mad Lord feels such a huge surge of emotions that he momentarily regains his senses. Are you watching from the underworld, darling? I killed the real wicked monster behind the incident back then. At that moment, quack, a hand emerges from the celestial pond. Seo Unyun, with 19 heads, including his own and the 18 skulls, appears from within. Seo Unyun appears to be looking for Seo Whale, but freezes upon seeing the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Zhou Yian smirks at the sight. Why is that one coming out from there? I'm going to be reverting to the Mad Lord soon. Ah, I see. Did that guy drive Seo Whale to the brink of death? That king of schemes. Impressive indeed. Zhou Yian sends a grateful look at the frozen Seo Unyun. Since it's come to this and I'll be going berserk soon, I might as well scare him away. When I go into a frenzied state, I'll definitely try to catch him. I look up at the wonderfully mysterious fortress with great tension. Damn it, Seo Whale is definitely dead. I can tell just by looking at the ashes beside me. The Mad Lord must have incinerated him with a beam blast, not even wanting to turn the snake scorpion Seo Whale into a puppet. It's about 500 years after my ascension. At this point, the Mad Lord's power is equivalent to over 70 integration stage cultivators. Even if I'm at the grand perfection instead of the late integration stage, I can't stop that. Of course, if I infiltrate as General Seo, I might be able to subvert things from within, but even that is impossible without Kim Yian. However, escaping is possible. Below, towards the celestial pond, I signal Hong Fan, who hasn't yet emerged from the storage scroll, to come out once the wonderfully mysterious fortress disappears. While leaving from the inside is fine, as the entrance only opens once a month, the Mad Lord cannot enter. The puppet controlling Mad Lord and Hong Fan. The Mad Lord and Hong Fan have the worst compatibility. Puppets are immune to poison. If the Mad Lord's main body could somehow be poisoned, there might be a chance of victory. But since the Mad Lord installed purification devices and other mechanisms to completely block out poison inside the wonderfully mysterious fortress under the pretense of providing a better quality of life to the puppets, it's meaningless. I roll my eyes, looking for a way out. At that moment, clank, one of the cannons of the wonderfully mysterious fortress aimed at me. Damn it, think later. The priority is to escape. Pot, using the ground shrinking technique, flying escape technique, gliding technique, and the formless sword flight, I begin to flee from the domain of the wonderfully mysterious fortress. I need to get away quickly. My current condition isn't very good to begin with. How fast can I cross the Dead Earth domain? I suddenly have a strange feeling. What is it? Why isn't the Mad Lord chasing me? Considering the Mad Lord's personality, he should be crazily chasing me, even sending her and others after me. Could it be? Come to think of it, He only threatened me with the cannon, without shouting his usual insane words in his characteristic mad manner. Recalling him, one possibility crosses my mind. Perhaps, the Mad Lord. He might have temporarily regained his sanity. After some deliberation, I take out my storage scroll and create a mass-produced General CO, sending it flying towards the Mad Lord. If the Mad Lord is sane, I need to inform him about CO Whale. Since only Mad Lord can be considered CO Whale's archenemy, it will be most efficient for him to have the information to deal with CO Whale. Boong. After flying for some time, my mass-produced General CO finally reaches the front of the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Elder Mad Lord, I have something to tell you. Then, the gate of the wonderfully mysterious fortress opens. Sharing my vision with the puppet, I enter the wonderfully mysterious fortress. After some time, I am guided by the puppets into Mad Lord's reception room. And I am startled. The Mad Lord Zhou Yian is sipping tea poured by her in a rather rational state in the reception room. Is this the puppet made by that guy earlier? Seems like you have something to say. Though glimpses of madness are apparent, the Mad Lord is certainly in a state of sanity. I nod at him and convey the information about CO Whale. Quote. So, the one known as CO Whale is a kind of hive mind that survives by spreading its cluster. Yes. Quote. I see. So, he hasn't been completely killed yet. The Mad Lord sighs briefly and speaks. I got it. Thanks. I'll find a way to deal with him eventually. I feel a strange sensation watching the Mad Lord. From start to finish during our conversation, he didn't have any seizures. It's an impossible occurrence. How could that Mad Lord manage such a thing? Seeing my puzzled expression, the Mad Lord also seems puzzled, sipping his tea with a bitter smile. You must find it strange as well, that I'm not having outbursts. Have you regained your sanity? No. Seeing you also handle puppets, you must have some knowledge in puppet arts, but you wouldn't know about this wonderfully mysterious fortress. Regaining sanity while controlling it is impossible. The reason I'm so clear-minded is. A serious light appears in Zhou Yian's eyes. Just now, the integration stage puppets of the wonderfully mysterious fortress reacted. Shortly after you came out from the celestial pond, a strange wave spread throughout the entire bright cold realm. A strange wave, yes. It seems only those at the integration stage can sense it with their unique senses. I couldn't feel the wave itself, but I barely realized it through the reactions of the integration stage puppets. At any rate, because of that wave, I regained my sanity. Of course, I'll eventually be swallowed by madness again, but it feels like that time has been greatly extended. If so, the Mad Lord before me can be maintained for a significantly long period. But, what kind of wave was it that made Mad Lord regain his sanity? I wonder, puzzled. Bright cold realm, summit of heavenly Lotus Mountain. Above a pavilion made of white jade. A gigantic dimensional gate has been opened, and a being shrouded in pure white light holding a white branch walks towards it. The being of pure white light is Sacred Master Baek-woon. Sacred Master Baek-woon speaks to the immense, black-red entity in the boundless space beyond the dimensional gate. Why does the great blood yin continue to covet the bright cold realm? Please return. Although that rogue golden divine caused trouble, did he not set up a barrier that prevents your approach? As she said, when the black-red being attempts to approach the bright cold realm, a massive heavenly tribulation strikes directly at it. Kurururur, a colossal heavenly tribulation that seems capable of burning the world. As the heavenly lightning descends upon the black-red being, it creates a canopy of heavenly tribulation to prevent its advance. Kwajijijijik. However, the black-red something pierces through the heavenly tribulation canopy, advancing towards Sacred Master Baek-woon. The Sacred Master Baek-woon shrouded in light raises the white branch in her hand. Do you truly intend to come in despite the damage you will suffer? Then, a response comes from the black-red. The Bakeseed wound of true my person karmicleet fire me has in revealed with its the traces power is of I karmic seek fire to ire claim will my heal authority the doinjury note inflicted tribi to the stop golden me divine. Zing. A message transmits from the black-red entity. Sacred Master Baek-woon seems to interpret the message briefly before giving a bitter smile. Impossible. It absolutely cannot happen. If you reclaim your power, the bright cold realm will burn, and your proposal is essentially no different from telling me to become your thrall or immortal treasure. The black-red entity once again attempts to establish communication at her words. I once am I the find judge the of karmic the fire netherworld I da shall you better restored to and refuse reclaim my proposal position by as doing the so right you hander of kicking the away heavenly all venerably ro found the glory netherworld. Interpreting the message, Sacred Master Beck Woon clicks her tongue in pity. Oh, pitiful one, is your name not Blood Yin Shui Yin? You are not the grand and noble Nether Devil True Lord. If you were truly the reincarnation of Nether Devil True Lord, wouldn't other judges have descended to take you away? At these words, the red-black entity's form trembles. Sacred Master Beck Woon squints through the light. How I am dare you how impudent Tion. Anger. The entity before her is visibly enraged by Sacred Master Beck Woon's words. Sacred Master Beck Woon's eyes shine as she swings the branch. Shua. Numerous white trees begin to grow around Sacred Master Beck Woon, creating a massive white forest in the interdimensional void beyond the dimensional barrier. If I had faced you before my realm fell at the hands of the Golden Divine, I would have been powerless. However, as the Sacred Master Xing Shi of the Bright Cold Realm, I am confident in defending it. Wu Wang. The dimensional surface of the Bright Cold Realm is covered with white trees made of immaterial substance. I have placed mental stabilization over the entire Bright Cold Realm. You will not be able to incite madness across the entire realm as you did 40,000 years ago. Pot. White light and red-black light clash outside the dimension. Woong, woong, woong. I frown as I observe the peculiar movement of the heaven and earth spiritual energy. It seems something is happening. I feel strange. For some reason, I have a sense that someone is targeting me. By the way, why has the Mad Lord's mind stabilized? I can't figure out the reason. Although he is gradually slipping back into madness, it appears he will remain in a stable state for a few more days. Well, I suppose I should stick with the Mad Lord for the time being. For now, I have Sio Li possess me, and listen to the stories of the time I was absent from him. I hadn't always been watching him, so it's necessary to learn about his experiences and realizations. Zing. It's then, I suddenly feel a chilling sensation sweep past me from behind. This is, I can sense it, a sensation only I, who learned the Ghost Past method, passed through the side path of the Netherworld, and have met the Nether Devil True Lord Yu Haote, could perceive. Just now, the power of the Netherworld swiftly swept across the Bright Cold Realm. What in the world is this? What's going on? At the same time, I feel an unusually strong wood mu attribute energy among the 5 elements of heaven and earth spiritual energy. It's to the point that it's perhaps an opportunity for those who practice wood attribute methods to advance their realms. Just then, Koo-goo-goo-goo-goo, in a distant place, Swiftwind Domain, I feel a chill from the energy emanating from there. And the Mad Lord, who has been exchanging puppet techniques with General Sio, also sharply turns his head towards the direction of the Swiftwind Domain. Jajachojak, just what is this? It's cold. Even though it isn't the Swiftwind Domain but the Dead Earth Domain, the cold emanating from the Swiftwind Domain is enough to make me lose my composure. ZZZT, ZZZT. Sio Li screams in my head. Kong Min Hee, Sio Un Yun, Kong Min Hee is. I clench my teeth. Sio Li screams that the mysterious bizarre GU he had given to Kong Min Hee has disappeared. I grab the colorless glass sword while gritting my teeth. Quote. You probably don't remember because you don't have access to the canvas of myriad forms and connections. Thinking back, now that 500 years have passed, this is the point in time when Kong Min Hee would metamorphosize into the ghost-guiding Holy Mother at the Swiftwind Domain. Koo-goo-goo-goo-goo. Is it because of the power of the Netherworld that had suddenly swept through the Bright Cold Realm? Or is it because of something else? Perhaps it's the attraction of fate forcefully pulling Kong Min Hee into becoming the ghost-guiding Holy Mother. Kong Min Hee has awakened as the Ghost Mother Kui Mu. Translator notes. Decoded 1. The seed of my karmic fire has revealed its traces. As I seek to reclaim my authority, do not try to stop me. Beck Woon True Person, let me in. With the power of karmic fire, I will heal the injury inflicted by the Golden Divine. Decoded 2. I am the judge of the Netherworld. Do you dare to refuse my proposal? By doing so, you are kicking away all your own glory. Once I find the karmic fire, I shall be restored and reclaim my position as the right hand of the heavenly venerable of the Netherworld. Decoded 3. How dare you, impudent one. I am Yu Haote. Chapter 323, Farewell 5. Ha, HAHK. I can't breathe, my breathing is labored. This is star-shattering stage Sui Xingqi. Born as immortal, these demigods begin to shed the trappings of mortality. In the life where I lived as General Seo, I didn't understand because I inhabited the body of a puppet, rather than a living being. Even when I met Jang Ik, I couldn't grasp his true power. The first time was in General Seo's body, and the second time, Jang Ike's clone was imprinted in Yua's heart, containing an aura not even at the chi refining level. But now, I think I understand. How can such an existence? Even though we haven't entered the Swiftwind domain yet and are still in the Dead Earth domain, I feel a pressure so intense it squeezes my heart. And it seems that the Mad Lord, riding in the wonderfully mysterious fortress, feels the same way as he clutches his chest with a pale expression. She is trying to block the aura in front of the Mad Lord, but since she isn't her thousand-year future self who had nearly reached the quasi-star-shattering stage, she fails to properly do so. Crunch. I grit my teeth and give a bitter smile. Kong Min-hee. In the end, fate is fate. Attraction is attraction. Even though Seo Lee tried to exchange emotions with her as much as possible and left behind the mysterious bizarre Gu, she was still led by fate to become the ghost mother. Sururuk. Seo Lee, who had already slipped out of my body, turns into his human form and clenches his fist. Seo Eun-yun. He grits his teeth and looks at me. Kong Min-hee. I know. So, what will you do? Quote. I look at Seo Lee with cold eyes. As you should know already, this aura is at the star-shattering level. Even if we join forces with the Mad Lord, we can't handle a star-shattering stage existence. We should focus on escaping instead. I know that, but, Seo Lee's eyes are completely filled with confusion. Kong Min-hee is there. We have to save Kong Min-hee. I look at the panicking Seo Lee. Seo Lee, with Yuan Yu's face, is clutching his head and tearing at his hair. Watching this, I closed and opened my eyes. Seo Lee, Seo Eun-yun. Isn't there some way? How can we? She is our companion. Seo Lee, I know you don't have any special feelings for her. But still, bang. Without calling Seo Lee a third time, I calmly punch him in the face. That head, reminiscent of Yuan Lee, explodes cleanly. Calming my emotions, I unsheathe my sword with a cold gaze. Why the formless sword? Formless sword, huh, come to think of it, you still consider this as the formless sword. But over the past 500 years, my formless sword has evolved into something slightly different. Lifting the sword imbued with starlight, I look at Seo Lee. From now on, I'll show you what I've realized over the past 500 years. Ah, no, Seo Eun-yun. Now is not the time for Bo-ung. Without mercy, I swing my sword at Seo Lee. This insane little. I hastily cast Ghost King transformation, retrieve the clear scale armor, and use the ground shrinking technique to quickly distance myself from Seo Eun-yun. Why in the world is he acting like this? Has he truly gone mad after being infected by Seo Wei-ol? Why suddenly swing a sword without any explanation? Even though I feel a strange sense of déjà vu from Seo Eun-yun's behavior, I run away to avoid losing my life. However, I can still feel his gaze from afar. Dangerous. Bo-ung. In the blink of an eye, Seo Eun-yun traverses hundreds of li without using the ground shrinking technique and thrusts the formless sword at my throat. Must dodge. Overwhelmed with terror, I attempt to dodge, but it feels impossible. I can't dodge. No matter where I try to dodge, I feel I will get hit. In reality, it seems like the formless sword is calmly held in Seo Eun-yun's hand in the shape of a sword, but the true essence of the formless sword is absolute freedom. Whether I dodge or not, its trajectory will change freely and hit me. It's a different kind of strike from Kim Young-hoon's speed or Tae Yal Jaeon's certain hit. That is the meaning of the formless sword. If I can't dodge, the only answer is to block. I move the retrieved clear scale armor to quickly cover my entire body. The power of the clear scale armor that nullifies all physical force. However, Seo Eun-yun's formless sword seems to mock me as it so effortlessly permeates the clear scale armor and cuts my body. Coughing up blood, I try using attraction force or some spells to escape from his grasp. But it's all useless. The puppet circuit is useless against Seo Eun-yun, who knows the circuit just as well. The ghost path method shrinks before Seo Eun-yun, who has a stronger death aura than I do. The Yin Soul Ghost incantation is equally useless. Using the tactic of overwhelming strength that cultivators use against the Heart tribe is also ineffective because Seo Eun-yun has obtained the 4-axis stage of the Earth tribe thanks to Seo Wei-ol. In other words, Seo Eun-yun is the worst possible match against me. Kugugugu. The Dead Earth domain shakes violently. Dust rises up. In the dust, I am beaten, slashed, and forced to taste Seo Eun-yun's martial arts without being able to fight back. How long do I have to endure this relentless assault? Suddenly, I feel Seo Eun-yun's heart message reaching me. Why aren't you using martial arts? Quaduduk. With 16 of my 18 heads turned to powder by the formless sword, I spit out ghostly energy and glare at him. Are you kidding me? How can I beat you with martial arts? On the contrary, I would be further restricted against Seo Eun-yun. At my words, Seo Eun-yun looks at me with an even colder gaze. Why is it? I can't bear to meet Seo Eun-yun's eyes. And in the next moment, I see that the sword containing all of heaven's natural colors in Seo Eun-yun's hand has disappeared. What? The sword? No, it isn't that the sword disappeared. Boong. I feel the hair on my non-existent body stand on. And that is it. That is why Seo Weol reacted as if he couldn't see it. At the last moment, I use the ground shrinking technique to move backward and evade Seo Eun-yun's attack. That was really dangerous. That attack just now. I look at Seo Eun-yun with fearful eyes and ask. It was completely in the plane of soul. To completely step foot into the plane of soul, is that the true first step before the throne? Seo Eun-yun looks at me with an expressionless face for a moment, then stops his attack and smiles faintly. How did you notice the attack? What? Just as you said, this attack completely encompasses the plane of soul. No matter how skilled cultivators are, unless they've mastered consciousness methods, it's not easy to approach the plane of soul. Even if one has practiced the ghost path method, they can only barely approach it. Ultimately, the core of immortal cultivation lies within the plane of chi. He continues while stroking the prismatic sword of light. Especially since my enlightenment focuses on formlessness and freedom, it's even harder for opponents to perceive it. It has been like this since the days of the formless sword, but after reaching this state, I've become unparalleled in terms of trajectory. That's true, since the days of the formless sword. So then, how did you avoid that strike just now? What do you mean, how? It was an invisible and imperceptible strike. How were you able to avoid it? I ask back in bewilderment at his question. What do you mean? Even though I'm not using martial arts, I know every martial art I can use. What Seo Eun-yun had just executed is one of the moves of severing mountain swordsmanship, specifically, Deep Mountain. It's a move that involves closing in on the opponent's chest and then slicing upward. If one carefully observes the peculiar, hard-to-follow footwork, it could be avoided. At that, Seo Eun-yun smiles faintly. Suddenly, I understand the sense of déjà vu I had felt when Seo Eun-yun suddenly started attacking me. Do you know how I reached this state? I observed myself, and I was able to realize. What I needed was already within me. I see. He brings his finger to my chest. You are Seo Lee, but at the same time, you are another possibility of mine. Martial arts are already within you. You just have to wield them. You've become like Kim Young-hoon. Wield it, it's already within you. Kim Young-hoon's voice seems to faintly echo in my ears. Your will is also within you. You just have to wield it. Don't rely on me, Seo Lee. From the moment we separated, your life became your own. His eyes seem to burn with starlight. I see. It isn't that the formless sword has become invisible. In fact, it has merged even closer with Seo Eun-yun. To fully rise to the plane of soul, perhaps. The plane of soul isn't spread as wide as the plane of chi. Rather, it might exist within the inner depths of one's heart. There was a time when I forced my disciples to live a certain way. While I did it with a master's heart, now that I think about it, perhaps it would have been better to respect their will, even if it led to their deaths. So, I will respect your will as well, Seo Lee. Don't seek answers from me. Follow where your heart leads you. Do you want to save Kong Min-hee or not? I stand there. The suffocating pressure from the direction of the Swiftwind domain still bears down on me. Looking into Seo Eun-yun's eyes, I clench my teeth. I want to save Kong Min-hee. If you go to her now, you might die. Death. Hearing that word, I strangely feel my legs tremble. It's odd. Death should be familiar to me. Yet, however, despite the fear, I still want to go. Why? You might die. Why indeed? Why do I want to go to her? Why? I try to craft an answer with countless logical explanations, but the words that come out are unexpected. The scenery of that day that Kong Min-hee and I saw together. I couldn't remember it. Kong Min-hee's domain. You saw it within my heart essence, didn't you? I couldn't recall that memory. Quote. I can easily retrieve the memory from you through the canvas of myriad forms and connections, but I want to hear that answer from Kong Minhee. Quote. Ah, thinking about it, I realize how nonsensical this is. It seems completely illogical and foolish, especially given that my life is on the line. No, I mean, if you hear the answer, wouldn't it be beneficial for the canvas of myriad forms and connections as well? Since Seo Eun-yun and I are the same person, accessing the memory through the canvas of myriad forms and connections is possible. I babble nonsensically, and then, is that so? Seo Eun-yun laughs. It's a clear laugh. Then let's do that. Without a moment's hesitation, he turns around and starts walking towards the Swiftwind domain. Contact the Mad Lord. Since he has come to his senses, we might be able to get his help. If there are any survivors, let's rescue them and escape with his help. Seo Eun-yun. With a trembling voice, I question Seo Eun-yun. Just a moment ago, weren't you against saving Kong Minhee? Surely, he wasn't in favor of rescuing Kong Minhee. It felt like he was coldly assessing Kong Minhee's power at the star-shattering stage and devising an escape strategy. But why did he suddenly change his mind? And why because of such a flimsy and foolish logic? Although Seo Eun-yun is an emotional person, he has at least the minimum amount of rationality. He isn't the type to be swayed by such foolish logic, which is why I thought there was almost no chance. So why did he agree so easily? At my words, Seo Eun-yun turns back to me with a gentle smile. Unlike Seo Wales, it's a smile that truly seems to put one's heart at ease. I'll explain, so follow me. Taught it. After contacting the Mad Lord, I follow Seo Eun-yun. Neither of us use the flying escape technique, we only use lightness skills to tread the air. Of course, I still use the ground shrinking technique to close the distance, but strangely, it's still hard to keep up with him. He isn't using the Earth Tribe's gliding technique or the flying escape technique, neither is he using the Formela's sword flight. He is just running purely with lightness skills, but I can only see Seo Eun-hun's back. I feel like I could get ahead if I use the flying escape technique, but strangely, I don't feel like doing so. The ground shrinking technique is within an acceptable range, but I don't want to use anything beyond that. I want to chase Seo Eun-yun using only lightness skills. However, I kept running seeing only Seo Eun-yun's back until the end. After a while, we arrive at the center of the Swiftwind domain. Ooh, Kaya, millions of ghosts are howling. At the center of the ghost horde is a black orb, and the location of that orb is the base temporarily set up at the Swiftwind domain by the Black Ghost Valley's branch in the Bright Cold Realm to create a side path. In other words, it's the place where a nether crossing ship is docked. Kia, hi hia hh. The horde of ghosts scream and shudder as we approach, but strangely, they do not flee. It's as if they can't leave the vicinity of that pitch-black sphere. Can you sense the nether crossing ship inside? Yeah, I can. With my senses honed by the ghost path method, I can vividly feel the presence of the nether crossing ship. And naturally, I sense that there are still living survivors inside it. The ghosts inside have all lost their will and been subdued. We need to at least save the survivors. Regrettably, the Ghost Kings are beyond saving. I can tell instinctively. As someone who has practiced the ghost path method, I can clearly feel the power of the sphere before me and its influence. I sort out who can be saved and who can't and inform Seo Eun-yun. Seo Eun-yun nods. Alright, then first, we need to breach the orb and pull the nether crossing ship out, then extract the survivors inside. Judging by the power of the sphere, it will regenerate almost instantly even if we damage it. It's fine, we can divide the roles. Before he can finish his words, the Mad Lord's wonderfully mysterious fortress arrives. From inside, the Mad Lord's voice echoes. Kuhu, did you call me to deal with that thing? Seo Eun-yun looks up at the wonderfully mysterious fortress and laughs. Of course not, we will make the scratches, we just need the Elder to pull out the nether crossing ship inside. You're trying to rescue the survivors inside. I know from fighting with those Black Ghost Valley guys, but ghosts tend to cluster together. Even if you pull out that nether crossing ship, which is practically a ghostly entity in itself, it'll just get dragged back. That is certainly true. Even if we pull out the nether crossing ship temporarily, it's highly likely it will be dragged back inside. In the brief moment we pull it out, we have to extract all the survivors within the nether crossing ship, but the time is too tight. Hadn't the Elder once entered the nether crossing ship and removed the power source himself? Yes, I have. How did the elder enter back then? Did you politely walk through the entrance and take it? Of course not. I pierced through the hull, went straight to the power source, and removed it. Please do the same this time. As soon as we pull out the nether crossing ship, drill a hole and go straight in to remove the power source. Once the power source is out, the ghostly energy of the nether crossing ship will weaken significantly, buying us more time before it gets dragged back. During that time, please extract the survivors with your bee puppets. Regarding the power source, well, you can do whatever you want with it. I look at Seo Eun-yun with a bewildered face. Hey, the power source of the nether crossing ship belongs to the Black Ghost Valley. Why are you giving it to the Mad Lord? It's called strategic relocation. Quote. Anyway, can it be done? Ho-hoo. Well, there isn't much time left while I'm still sane, so if I can save people in that brief period of time, I should do so. The Mad Lord readily accepts and shouts. Good, it's been nearly 1,000 years since I last clashed with Black Ghost Valley. Let's do this. Prepare yourself, Seo Lee. Seo Eun-yun, gripping the colorless glass sword, speaks with a serious expression. Let's go rescue Kong Min-hee. And so, the battle of the Ghost Mother Gui Muzan with the Mad Lord, Seo Eun-yun, and I begins. Chapter 324. Farewell, 6. Follow me. The prelude to the battle is initiated by Seo Eun-yun. Chua, light. The starlight of all heaven's natural colors seem to shine from his hand, transforming into a vertical line that strikes directly at the sphere. Quadududuke. A scar of starlight remains on the sphere. I cast Ghost King transformation. Perhaps due to the ghostly energy filling the surroundings, the 18 heads that had been destroyed by Seo Eun-yun instantly regain their original form. Great Desert to Dead Sea. Glutinous Devil Ghost Devouring Shimo Gui Mei. Chiok, 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 Chiok. All 18 heads simultaneously open their mouths. An immense suction force emanates from them, absorbing all the ghostly and yin energy in the vicinity. An overwhelming power surges forth. Boo! From the eye sockets of the 18 heads, a ferocious ghost fire erupts violently. Simultaneously, the surrounding yin energy is temporarily weakened, causing the ghost horde to retreat. But that isn't the end. The next stage of the chi-building yin soul ghost incantation which I had inherited from the curse lineages by Yul. A method that begins at the nascent soul stage and can be mastered up to the grand perfection 4-axis stage. Black blood tears flower, Heisei Shui Lei Hua. Chua. From the 18 skull heads, pitch black tears fall. The tears scatter on the ground, causing sinister buds of curses to sprout from the earth. A long time ago, I had almost independently evolved the yin soul ghost incantation to reach black blood tears flower. The buds of the curses resemble the grotesque masses I had created in my 10th cycle using the black ghost curse banner. The malice they emit is also quite similar. If I hadn't discovered the white orchid blessing incantation back then, I would have obtained the black blood tears flower. Of course, although I had come close, this black blood tears flower is still the masterpiece created over several generations by the curse lineage of Black Ghost Valley. The buds of curses I created back then with the black ghost curse banner were the end, but this is just the beginning for the black blood tears flowers. Kya, kuua, hua, the buds bloom. Simultaneously, the area is filled with screams louder than the wailing of the ghosts. The black flowers look more like the gaping mouths of several split snakes, with eyeball-like objects wriggling inside. Usually, blooming 1 black blood tears flower would be classified as 1 star. Blooming 3 flowers would be 2 stars. Blooming 5 flowers would be 3 stars, corresponding to the early, middle, and late stages of the nascent soul stage. 8 flowers would be 4 stars, representing the grand perfection nascent soul stage. 10 flowers would be 5 stars. 20 flowers would be 6 stars. 30 flowers would be 7 stars. Blooming 50 flowers to create a flower bed would be 8 stars, corresponding to the grand perfection heavenly being stage. Afterwards, blooming 100 flowers would be 9 stars, 200 flowers would be 10 stars, 360 flowers would be 11 stars corresponding to the late 4-axis stage, and successfully creating a flower garden with 1,000 flowers would signify achieving 12 stars, representing great achievement. Around me, countless grotesque flowers bloom, filling a radius of 10 li in an instant. Even the ghosts guarding the sphere flinch and retreat at the sight of this monstrosity. Churarararik, as I call forth my will, a yin wind swirls in the surroundings. In that yin wind, the petals of the sinister flowers scatter. The black petals from the curse gather before me and coalesce into a sword. Boang, I concentrate my mind and swing the cursed flower sword. Kwang. The sword slash of the flower sword overlaps with the starlight scar left by Xiao Unyun. Yet, the sphere remains intact, with only traces of damage. Curse assimilation. However, the sword mark from my cursed flower sword permeates into the sphere. I can sense it. The sphere is a conglomerate of all kinds of pain, resentment, and sorrow. A massive force condensed with the grudges of ghosts. Inside it, my curse naturally blends in, assimilating with the sphere. Like a spy, the petals of my black blood tears flower infiltrate within. Xiao Unyun and I exchange glances. Woang. The sword scar left by Xiao Unyun begins to shine with all of heaven's colors. What is the first step before the throne? Xiao Unyun's eyes gleam. For 500 years, he had self-reflected and comprehended the essence of the formless sword. He then further forged the formless sword that had grown immensely through becoming a heavenly tribulation. He realized that the enlightenment already laid within him. He awakened the heart of martial arts that he had learned and united it with himself once more. And like so, he reached the first step before the throne. The essence of the first step before the throne is as follows. Resolutely preparing for one's soul to be crushed and to perish, one compresses their heart essence into depths of their martial arts. A realization that resonates with Xiao Unyun's sea of righteousness and mountain of grace. If one's true heart aligns with their martial arts, they won't perish even when delving into the depths of their martial arts. Unbeknownst to him, Xiao Unyun had preemptively practiced the enlightenment of the first step before the throne through his sea of righteousness and mountain of grace. In this way, if one stakes everything and succeeds in infusing their heart essence, into the depths of their martial arts, uniting the heart of their martial arts with their own heart, their martial arts will completely rise to the plane of soul. In the case of Tae Yaljaeon, it reaches the depths of the plane of soul. She draws power from the source of heart essence as she continues her battles. For Jang Ik, he leverages his fighting spirit, which has risen to the plane of soul, to gather an immense amount of energy from the plane of chi to unleash his attacks. Those who reach the first step before the throne can all achieve a strike at the plane of soul. Using that strike, they can embed their heart essence into their opponent's heart essence or manifest their heart essence externally to create an avatar. Jang Ik's ability to embed a Padao into the heart essence of numerous subordinate heart tribe members to support them with a single strike. The ability to create an avatar through the Padao and dispatch it in times of emergency. Kim Young-hoon creating an avatar exactly like his main body except for the total amount of energy. They are all based on the same principle. The first step before the throne corresponds to both the four-axis and integration stages of the heaven and earth tribes. Why is this so? The reason is that the strike of the first step before the throne, forged by putting in one's everything, is powerful enough to split dimensions and rival the full-force strike of a grand cultivator in the integration stage. However, the strike of the first step before the throne must literally contain everything. The heart tribe often falls into a near-death state after unleashing a single compressed strike of their heart essence. While their overall skills improve after merging the heart of their martial arts with their own heart, the main strength of the heart tribe in the first step before the throne lies in the strike infused with heart essence. A single use would drain their combat power, making it a do-or-die gamble of mutual destruction. Therefore, heart tribe members in the early stages of the first step before the throne are regarded as being in the four-axis stage. However, as they become more familiar and skilled with the attacks of the first step before the throne, and their understanding of heart essence deepens, the number of times they can launch heart essence strikes increases. Their personal skills gradually improve, allowing them to push the power of their heart essence to its extreme. The initial single mutually destructive strike increases to 2 strikes, then 3 strikes. As their understanding of heart essence deepens further, at some point, members of the heart tribe become capable of launching multiple heart essence strikes in rapid succession. Therefore, heart tribe members who reach the later stages of the first step before the throne and can skillfully handle the power of heart essence, rapidly unleashing multiple heart essence strikes, are recognized as being on par with those at the integration stage. Furthermore, the reason why ordinary heart tribe members fall into a near-death state after launching a heart essence strike is because they wield a power their frail bodies cannot handle. That means, Chuet, second strike, Xiao Unyun, who possesses the physical body of a 4-axis stage earth tribe, will not be in a critical state from just 1 or 2 heart essence strikes. In an instant, Xiao Unyun's body seems to be enveloped in sharp energy, and he swings his sword. Quadududuk. Once again, scars of light are engraved on the sphere. Third strike. Flash. Once more. Fourth strike. Once more again. Seo Eun-yun's strikes continue to land, and 7 scars in total are embedded in the sphere. Whew. Seo Eun-yun wipes the sweat off. The light embedded in the sphere becomes even brighter. This light is visible only to Seo Eun-yun, who is of the Heart tribe, Seo Lee, who shares his vision, and the Mad Lord, who also has a vision like that of the Heart tribe. That light represents both sword scars and Seo Eun-yun's avatars. Now, Seo Lee. Seo Eun-yun shouts. Seo Lee forms hand seals. Curse reversal. And then, flash. The black petals flowing inside the sphere reverse into pure white petals in an instant. Boom. A massive brilliance erupts from the top of the sphere, creating a large air hole. Simultaneously, the 7 sword scars merge into one, burrowing deep into the sphere. Let's go. Please. Elder. Alright. Bo-ung. Seo Eun-yun and Seo Lee enter within the sphere, followed by an enormous swarm of puppets. How far have the two chased after Seo Eun-yun's slash? Before their eyes. There, the nether crossing ship comes into view. The space is distorted. Seo Eun-yun mutters as he runs through the interior, which is larger than the sphere seen from the outside. Bo-ung. The swarm of puppets cling to the nether crossing ship, trying to pull it out. However, the nether crossing ship does not budge, as if it's anchored in place. Underneath the nether crossing ship, black ghosts are gathered as if to form a liquid, holding onto the ship. Will you not get lost? Seo Lee commands fiercely with ghost fire raging. But the ghosts, though trembling with fear, do not retreat. Seo Eun-yun gazes at the ghosts calmly. The ghosts seem to fear Seo Eun-yun even more than Seo Lee, yet they still do not move. Seo Eun-yun clicks his tongue and speaks. We have to remove them. I'll take care of extracting the nether crossing ship, so you follow the light. Seo Eun-yun points somewhere while looking at Seo Lee. There, the merged 7 strikes he had unleashed earlier are piercing through the darkness beyond the nether crossing ship, continuing forward. That's, from my vision, at the center of those depths lies her heart essence. Kong Min-hee's main body should be there. Go, Seo Lee. Seo Lee looks at Seo Eun-yun. Seo Eun-yun, what is it? You didn't tell me why you came to rescue Kong Min-hee. Seo Eun-yun gently smiles at those words. Until recently, you called me the main body. Now, you need me to tell you for you to understand. Somehow, his tone seems reproachful. However, his expression seems filled with joy. You, having originated from me, should already know. Seo Eun-yun turns his back to Seo Lee. Ku-gu-gu-gu-gu. The starlight of the Azure Spirit Starlight Quintessence Great Method, altered by Seo Wei-ol, begins to shine from Seo Eun-yun's entire body. His body begins to grow larger, resembling that of Azure Tiger Saint. Seo Eun-yun becomes a giant embodying the starry night. People, from birth to death, receive immeasurable grace that cannot be expressed in words. Seo Lee, from his memories. No, the figure of a giant that exists in Seo Eun-yun's memory overlaps with that form. Struggling to repay that grace, to give back to this world, is our duty, our obligation, and our privilege. Ku-du-du-duke. The giant of stars begins to tear away the nether crossing ship that's anchored by the ghosts from the ground. It's Azure Tiger Saint. He's come from the Azure Heaven Creation sect to save us. The few remaining disciples of Black Ghost Valley in the nether crossing ship cheer as they see the giant of stars. Moving towards impossible dreams while overcoming endless hardships. Enduring unbearable pain. Living while struggling like that, is who we are. Seo Lee stares blankly at the giant's back. Because you struggled with your own will, because you sought to break through with your own will, because with your own will you had belief and aim to reach the stars. I decided to help you. Go, Seo Lee. The saying, the heavens help those who help themselves might be false, but I will help you. Seo Lee remains silent, then he turns and chases after Seo Eun-yun's slash. I'm always just following. Behind him, the disciples of Black Ghost Valley cheer, but as they exit, they scream upon encountering the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Soon, Seo Eun-yun will probably follow him. He will overtake him again. No, since Seo Eun-yun's slashes which are burning through the darkness ahead are like his avatars, he is already ahead of him. I'm only looking at your back. Seo Lee grits his teeth as he runs after Seo Eun-yun. He realized they have already diverged. Although he doesn't know what the next regression will bring, they are already different people. And Seo Eun-yun respects Seo Lee, pushing him in order to be independent from his embrace at any time. However, Seo Lee feels a lingering frustration in his heart. He doesn't know why. How far has he run along the path of darkness? Seo Unyun exhausts its energy and fades, and Seo Li finally reaches the end of the path. There, a massive ghost guiding Holy Mother in the form of an 8-foot ghost monster is curled up and sleeping. Chapter 325, Farewell 7. As he approaches the ghost with a body length of about 30 meters, blue eyes sprout from its body. Upon meeting those eyes, Seo Li feels his body stiffen. Kura, Seo Li's body freezes, unable to move any further. It's the Great Desert to Dead Sea he has mastered. The entirety of the ghost path method within his body solidifies, forbidding any movement. It feels as though his ghostly energy was seized control of by the entity before him. However, it's different from the last time when he met this entity's gaze and was dragged into its domain to encounter Kong Minhee. Seo Li grits his teeth and shouts, Kong Minhee, Kong Minhee, but the ghostly entity shows no reaction. It simply stares at Seo Li with its completely transformed piercing blue eye, doing nothing else. Seo Li clenches his teeth. Chuaruru. Ghostly energy moves, sealing off the path Seo Li had come through. Now, only Seo Li and Kong Minhee remain in this space. But Seo Li gradually realizes that his body is moving on its own against his will, trying to expel him from the space. No, he can't move. The ghostly energy moves on its own accord. Kong Minhee, get a hold of yourself. I'm here, Suddenly, the speaking Seo Li is startled. The me that Kong Minhee knows is the me that's Seo Unyun's clone. In other words, the one she needs to be facing might not be me but Seo Unyun. I am Seo Li, not Seo Unyun. I don't know by what right I have to be calling Kong Minhee, so I briefly fall silent. Damn it, I grit my teeth, and then, woo-doo-dook, forcefully, using all the circuits of the Mad Lord and all my willpower. Forcefully, koo-doo-doo-dook, I move one of my arms and tear off one of the heads attached to my shoulder. Kwa-doo-doo-dook, koog, it's painful, but Seo Unyun wouldn't even bat an eye. The torn head is condensed into a gang sphere and thrown into the void. Then I tear out another. Kwa-doo-doo-dook, arog, it hurts, but Seo Unyun wouldn't even twitch. Boo-doo-doo-dook, kuarg, how many heads have I torn out? Before I knew it, my Ghost King transformation had significantly loosened, and my voice had returned to its human form. However, simultaneously, the ghostly energy in my body is gradually decreasing. I condensed the very essence of my ghost path method into gang spheres and released them into the void. Kwa-doo-dook, I tear out the last head. And I completely return to my human form. However, as a human, I am only at the heavenly being stage at best. Having also temporarily extracted other techniques like the 6 extremes Yin Thunder body, I am in a severely weakened state. I gasp for breath, expelling Seo Unyun's death from my body. Of course, I feel like my heart might burst and kill me at any moment. Not just from the pain, but from the pressure emitted by Kong Minhee, who is at the star-shattering stage. It feels like I am about to be crushed by that terrifying power. But, I am Seo Li. At this moment, I become complete as myself. And I am no longer affected by the ghostly energy. I muster all my remaining strength and reach out to Kong Minhee. Kwa-doo-doo-dook, my body feels like it's being crushed and torn apart. But it doesn't matter, I can reach her. With every step forward, my body breaks down. The darkness enveloping Kong Minhee is pierced bit by the power gathered in one hand. But in exchange, I have to give up everything. Yet I move forward, I can reach her. Looking back, I was born the moment I didn't convey Kong Minhee's words to Seo Unyun. I came into existence because of her. Even though her heart might have been directed at Seo Unyun, not me. Even though I might have been just a bystander. Even though it might not have been a heart originally meant for me. Her feelings reached me, and I was born. Therefore, Kong Minhee, I must return my heart to you. Kwa-doo-doo-dook, even the flesh of Yuan Yu's body begins to rot, unable to withstand the death energy pervading the space. Kong Minhee, I like you. It isn't because of Seo Unyun's memories. The moment with her, when we were together even if brief. Combing her hair, trying to kill me because of a misunderstanding. All those brief moments together. They were truly wonderful. Step, as I approach her, I feel that the 30 meters tall figure I see of her is not her true form. Inside the ghostly body composed of ghostly energy, I feel her presence. Without caring that my flesh is freezing solid, I enter the ghost body made of ghostly energy, taking steps towards the center where she lies. I can't withstand this. I can feel it. Even if the original Yuan Li came back and resurrected 70 times, he wouldn't be able to go any further. My body starts to freeze and crumble into powder. Maybe just as Jaeon Myung-hoon is loved by lightning, Kong Min-hee might be loved by all the ghosts and spirits of the world. I might be a ghost born from Seo Eun-yun's deluded thoughts. Wang Yan. Quaduduk. My whole body begins to scatter into the aura of death. No, even if I am to die, I want to reach her. And then, clench, a warm hand grabs my shoulder from behind. You fool, why did you abandon the Ghost King's body and face this with your bare body? It's Seo Eun-yun. Somehow, he had thrown the Nether Crossing ship outside, saved everyone in Black Ghost Valley, torn apart the sealed space, and reached here. It's warm. Why is that? As Seo Eun-yun grabs my shoulder, I feel my body, which seemed about to freeze in the ghostly energy, start to thaw. Is it that? For a moment, I see the flame burning inside Seo Eun-yun. It's a fire that scorches Seo Eun-yun's soul. Though I can't hurt others with the karmic fire, it seems to have a warming effect. He explains with a faint smile, attributing it to the effect of the karmic fire. He too seems exhausted, spitting blood from the effort of coming this far. The pain of karmic fire must be unimaginable. How can he stand so calmly? He smiles as he holds my shoulder. Go forward, Seo Lee. Wouldn't it be better if you went? Maybe. Do you think Kong Min-hee needs me? Quote. Maybe so. Seo Eun-yun nods calmly. But his next words make me clench my fists. But I think you need Kong Min-hee. What do you mean? Did you forget I'm a cunning hard tribe spy? Don't think you can deceive my eyes. Look ahead and walk. If there's something you desperately want to convey, you do it yourself. At Seo Eun-hyeon's sharp words, my mind feels like it snaps into place. Yeah, I look ahead. From behind, Seo Eun-yun's voice echoes. Form the gang sphere. Wo Wang. I form a gang sphere on my hand. I can't use entering heavens beyond the path, but I can manage ultimate pinnacle. Divide the gang sphere into 9. What's the point of? Just do as I say. I obediently divide the gang sphere. Circulate the gang spheres. I think I understood what he's trying to do. He might be trying to help me reach entering heavens. But it's a ridiculous idea. I haven't been able to use entering heavens for hundreds of years. The path of the sword you walked isn't mine. When I thought I was Seo Eun-yun, I believed I could use the formless sword with his memories. But knowing I am Seo Lee, I realized it clearly. These aren't my experiences, nor my insights. Therefore, I can't use the formless sword. Even if I try to infuse my insights into the gang sphere, it's impossible. However, Seo Eun-yun's next words go beyond my imagination. For the past 500 years, what have you done? What? I asked what you've been doing for 500 years. Didn't you observe it through heart essence? Just answer. I cultivated through the great desert to Dead Sea, through the black blood tears flower, and through the 6 extremes yin thunder body. Then you should know what you like best, right? When I fought Tae Yal Jaeon, you were also connected to me. Have you forgotten how she reached entering heavens? That's right. Tae Yal Jaeon reached entering heavens by sublimating her insights from the Buddhist family methods she practiced. But could I do it too? Could I do it with the cultivation methods I practiced? Could I really? Seo Eun-yun, do you know? What? I look back at Seo Eun-yun and smile. Really, he's annoyingly similar to Kim Young-hoon. Why can't he just tell me straightforwardly? You're really an annoying guy. Can't you just tell me directly? It's only meaningful if you figure it out yourself. Seo Eun-yun receives my smile with a laugh. He's the one who's been observing me through heart essence for 500 years. He is a grand master of martial arts and the original owner of my talents. Seo Eun-yun is not a madman, and there is no reason for him to suddenly force an awakening on me. Which means, I've already said it's within you. Swing it. Come to think of it, that's plagiarized from Young-hoon Hung Nim. It's already within me. At the moment of realization, I move forward, believing in myself. This is me. The result of abandoning all ghost path methods, forsaking the death that isn't mine, believing in what I have cultivated, and becoming whole as me, is this. My own manifestation. The gang spheres cycle at my fingertips. They draw a circle. Within that circle, I see my own 3 great ultimates. The great desert to Dead Sea, the black blood tears flower, the 6 extremes yin thunder body that I have all practiced. Entering heavens beyond the path. At my fingertips, a flower begins to bloom. Fallen flowers cannot return to branches. Luo Hua Nan Shangji. What emerges from my hand is neither the white orchid blessing incantation nor the black blood tears flower, but something black. Using the enlightenment of martial arts from Xiao Unyun's memories, I dissolve devilish arts and curses to create my own entering heavens. What initially had the form of the white orchid blessing incantation gradually changes shape and transforms into a different flower. Black lily, hey by a. What appears to be a single black lily blooming, quivers and spreads in all directions. The black lily petals envelop my surroundings. Step. I become able to take another step. Absorbing pain while straddling the plane of soul and plane of chi and transforming it into pure energy that scatters upon the ground, this is my entering heavens. Through fallen flowers cannot return to branches, I scatter the pain and sorrow filled in this darkness and move forward. And, I feel Xiao Unyun smiling behind me. Let's go. He stands not behind, but beside me. It's impressive. Xiao Unyun draws his sword of light from the void. I said I reforged the formless sword. Can you now hear its name? Wo Wang. I can hear it. In my ears, which have completely entered a new entering heavens, I hear the hum of the formless sword. Since it resembles its owner, your entering heavens also seems to like plagiarism. Plagiarism. It's a name she gifted me. I burst into a hearty laugh at Xiao Unyun's words. Chualalalac. The black lily petals gather to form a flower sword in front of me. Just like when we first entered the sphere, we each hold the flower sword and the formless sword. No, that's not the formless sword now. I utter the name the formless sword conveyed directly to me. All heaven's sword is the final form of the colorless glass sword. Since the colorless glass sword was created to contain the formless sword, it's not strange to attach its form to the formless sword's name. Try coming up with a cool name like Younghun Hung Nim. After a brief exchange of banter, we assume our stances without anyone needing to say more. Xiao Unyun's intent echoes, and his absolute technique engraves itself into my mind. Severing mountain swordsmanship. 30th move. Deep mountain. Emerging Dao. Shan Shen Ran Hu Dao. I will rip through. Strike and enter. Only deep within the mountain does the path emerge. Shan Shen Ran Hu Dao. A faint forest scent seems to spread. It feels like entering a deep mountain. Through Xiao Unyun's consciousness, I understand what the 30th move of the severing mountain swordsmanship he has newly attained is about. In an instant, Xiao Unyun's all-heaven's sword becomes completely transparent. He has risen to the much deeper and higher plane of soul. The basic technique of the sword is a downward slash. Lifting the sword high and then slashing downwards. Using precise muscle movements, raising the sword high, and accelerating it downwards with gravity to strike the opponent. It looks very simple, but in reality, it is an immensely powerful technique. And, I can feel it. Xiao Unyun's all-heaven's sword advancing to a much higher plane than can be seen. The sword moves. From a higher plane, the sword slashes downward and descends lower. From a high position to a low position. From a high plane to a low plane. As the sword tip lowers, it accelerates, and as the plane lowers, the cultivation of the heaven and earth tribe is added to the sword. And finally, his sword descends completely to the material plane. Shukik. The last moment is beyond the speed my eyes can follow. For just a moment, it seems as if his downward slash surpasses the surpassing radiant saber's speed, but is that just an illusion? And when his downward slash finishes, Kwaik, I witness Kong Minhe's darkness, having reached the star-shattering stage, split open like a valley. A path to Kong Minhe opens. To that, without hesitation, I charge towards her with the flower sword. Holding the sword made of black petals, I concentrate. The center of the ghostly energy forming the 8-foot ghost monster. I see her, completely blackened, crouching. After entering deep within the mountain and attaining the Tao, one contemplates the spring before the flowers fall. Shan Shen Ran Hu Dao Hua Luo Yi Qian Chun. Fallen flowers cannot return to branches. Application technique. Spring before flowers fall. Hua Luo Yi Qian Chun. Quack. The flower sword made of black lily petals pierce Kong Minhe's body. At the same time, the flower sword starts to reverse and turn pure white. The white lily petals push away the darkness that envelops Kong Minhe. Originally, fallen flowers cannot return to branches absorbs pain and scatters it by converting it into energy. The reversed spring before flowers fall absorbs my power and conveys my emotions to the opponent. Though it seems similar to the record of transcending cultivation and exhausting martial arts' ultimate technique, endless paths within paths, it's a technique several levels higher. Towards the immense sorrow enveloping Kong Minhe, I burn everything. My cultivation, my life, my soul. Quadudududuk. A pillar of light seems to penetrate Kong Min-hee. Reaching. Ku-gu-gu-gu-gu. An immense repulsive force rebounds from Kong Min-hee. As if telling me not to approach. It's an overwhelming repulsive force. It feels as if it will tear the space apart. But I can't lose. Please, just for a moment, reach. Seo Eun-yun comes up behind me and pushes my back. Together, we thrust the light. And the light explodes. Shua! It's raining. I look around what became the ruins of the Swiftwind domain. Nothing remains. Everything has been ground down by Kong Min-hee's power, turning into a desert like the Dead Earth domain. It was originally a place with only valleys and mountain peaks, but now there is truly nothing left. Are you satisfied, Seo Lee? I sit cross-legged, gazing at Seo Lee who lays beside me. No, saying he is lying down isn't accurate. Seo Lee's body is entirely torn into pieces and scattered somewhere, with only his head remaining. Only his head is left, barely clinging to life thanks to the tenacious vitality of Yuan Yu. Seo Lee's attack, which burned everything he had, succeeded. I close my eyes and recall the situation just moments ago. My all-heavens sword overlapped with Seo Lee's fallen flowers cannot return to branches, creating an immense piercing force in an instant. We narrowly succeeded in embedding Seo Lee's spring before flowers fall into her. Seo Lee's heart was conveyed. But regardless, she has reached the star-shattering stage. Kong Min-hee has already become the ghost-guiding Holy Mother. Kong Min-hee opens her eyes. In her eyes, burning with blue ghost fire, blue tears are streaming down. Kong Min-hee. No, the ghost-guiding Holy Mother swings her arm at us. That is the end. The overwhelming difference in power crushes any will to resist. With that, we are thrown away, and the ghost-guiding Holy Mother screams a terrifying ghostly wail and flies off somewhere. Kong Min-hee. But I know, Seo Lee's feelings have been conveyed. And for a very brief moment, she regained her sanity. Seo Eun-yun. Kong Min-hee called my name as she looked at me, then lost her reason again and flew away. Are you alright? She called my name at the last moment. To her, Seo Lee does not exist. Kong Min-hee always thought of Seo Lee as just a clone of Seo Eun-yun. In a way, Seo Lee's expectations were betrayed. However, Seo Lee is smiling. I'm fine. What do you mean, fine? Blurg. Suddenly, I feel a tightness in my chest and try to breathe, but pieces of my innards flow out with blood. My sturdy Earth tribe body is utterly shaken. Death energy has permeated my body in such a way that even resurrection seems impossible. Seo Lee must feel the same. Even after reaching the 4-axis stage after all that effort, we die without a chance to even resurrect. I sigh with a bitter smile, breathing heavily. Are you really fine, Seo Lee? Seo Eun-yun. Seo Lee, with lungs crushed, vibrates the heaven and earth spiritual energy with his remaining consciousness and continues speaking. I'm really fine. What is fine? Chi. The ghostly energy left by the ghost-guiding Holy Mother gradually invades my body. It's the power of the star-shattering stage. No matter what, I can't resist. The path of resurrection in the plane of soul is distorted by the attraction force, preventing our resurrection. But, using all my strength, I try not to collapse in front of Seo Lee, to hear his last words. I will regress, but Seo Lee will not. Facing death, I instinctively feel it deep within my soul. This guy is now a different being from me. A kind of familiar born from me. Yet, even so, he is a different entity. Therefore, he will not return. Thus, I have a reason to listen to his final words. Seo Lee continues speaking with a bright expression. My heart has been conveyed. It's all fine. Even if it wasn't reciprocated. Yes, he smiles. I did my best, and by reaching and conveying it, what I wanted to do was completed. Rather, you. Seo Lee looks at me. He has a face as if he's about to cry. Yes, Seo Lee is pitying me. I will be buried here. But you will continue to live. Right. I see. You feel it too. That you won't regress. At the end of our lives, we speak slowly. It's hard to talk. It's too painful. But still, I feel at ease. Death is imminent. Not the death I felt through Seo Eun-yun's memories. Neither the death felt through the ghost path method, nor the death felt on the side path, but true death. And now, standing before true death, I seem to understand. I will not regress. My life ends here. Only then do I unravel a few mysteries. The reason I was a bit more cautious with my body than before. The reason I felt life was more precious than before. And, the real reason Seo Eun-yun helped me against Kang Min-hee. It was because we both vaguely sensed that I will not regress. Seo Eun-yun, quote. The reason you helped me, aside from helping me to become independent of my own will, there was one more reason, wasn't there? He nods heavily. For some reason, his voice is trembling. Seo Eun-yun, who always seemed like a giant in this life, looks very small now facing death. Quote. You or me, it's the exact opposite of what he had always said. From the mouth of Seo Eun-yun, who always distinguished between Seo Eun-yun and Seo Lee, an interesting truth flows. You are another possibility of mine. The possibility of me loving Kang Min-hee, the possibility of me learning devilish arts. And, the possibility of entering eternal rest. Quote. Ha, ha, I laugh. I feel light, but at the same time, I feel pity. I will die on this land. I will enter eternal rest. But the connections I made on this land won't disappear over time. I will be buried in this land. Even if I decay into a handful of fertilizer and become soil, I will remain on this land. The connections I have made will remember me. Even if Kang Min-hee does not know me, the fact that I conveyed my feelings to her, this history will remain unchanged. Kim Yeon, Jaeon Myung-hoon, Kang Min-hee, the Mad Lord, Azure Tiger Saint. The integration stage grand cultivators, the people of Black Ghost Valley, those I met on this journey, and even Seo Weo, despite being annoying. They will not forget me, and I will remain in this land as a handful of soil, remembered by those who recall me. Even if this time is annihilated by regression, I will vanish with the others. Whether the timeline remains after regression or not, I am now with them. But what about Seo Eun-yun? He will regress after he dies. Even if his body becomes soil, his soul will regress and endlessly repeat life. Even if his body remains here, his soul will move to another time, and he will no longer be able to reminisce about those connections that remember him. Only the records stored in the canvas of myriad forms and connections will comfort Seo Eun-yun, warmly but sorrowfully. I am the possibility that Seo Eun-yun wants the most. To die and be buried in this land, in this world, in this time. I cry, crying loudly like a child, and laughing with joy at fulfilling one of my deepest wishes. I pity Seo Eun-yun. I will stay here. But you will leave, right? Quote. Yes. What words can I leave him? Feeling my consciousness fading, I leave my final words to Seo Eun-yun. Quote. Live well, and, crying and laughing, enjoying this life that was like a fleeting dream, I peacefully bury myself in this land. Farewell, Seo Eun-yun. Stay well, me, that is my final death. Seo Eun-yun closes his eyes and looks at the peaceful expression of the dead Seo Lee. The beautiful face left by Yuan Lee, whom he detests. A face he loathes so much that he often smashes it out of boredom. But at this moment, Seo Eun-yun finds Seo Lee's face to be extremely beautiful. I have to bury him. Thud. But Seo Eun-yun can no longer hold out any longer and collapses on the spot. Seo Eun-yun, dressed in white, and the corpse of Seo Lee, covered in black fragments, lay facing each other under the falling raindrops. Wo Wang, is it the will left behind by Seo Lee? The gang spheres hidden all over, left behind by Seo Lee, enter Seo Eun-yun's body. Gang spheres containing the spiritual power of the ghost path method. Of course, since it's filled with the energy of death, it does not help Seo Eun-yun recover from his injuries. But that power settles within Seo Eun-yun, harmonizing the three great ultimates. Seo Eun-yun closes his eyes. On the land where two incarnations of life, cultivators of the four-axis stage, have died. Is it the spirits of the two cultivators, unable to resurrect, creating harmony? At some point, the rain stops, and a quince tree and a lily tree grow on that land. Someone approaches the two trees, and a wind blows from somewhere. The petals of the lily tree cling tightly to its branches without scattering, but the petals of the quince tree scatter and fly far away. The branches of the white lilies sway in the wind, but the petals do not scatter, almost as if they are waving goodbye. To say farewell, that is Seo Eun-yun's 19th return. Author's note. First, I apologize if you were expecting a lot from the Christmas consecutive chapters and found them a bit dull. However, upon finishing the cycle, I felt it was right to conclude here. If I had pushed forward to the next chapter today, it might have felt even more unresolved, so I decided to stop at these 3 consecutive chapters. I will try to bring a bit more for the New Year's consecutive chapters. As for the story, Seo Lee represents another possibility for Seo Eun-yeon and directly showcases Seo Eun-yeon's objective. This is also a kind of return to the original intention, intended to clearly remind readers of Seo Eun-yeon's purpose. Seo Lee may seem distinct, but he is another protagonist and another version of Seo Eun-yeon. Although they appear different, both deeply fear regression and the emptiness of disappearing connections in their hearts. In a way, Seo Lee represents the Seo Eun-yeon who achieved what he most desired. Being buried in the land. Being remembered in history. Ensuring that his connections do not fade into emptiness, this is Seo Eun-yeon's ultimate goal. It's a slightly more concrete goal than simply breaking the cycle of regression or committing suicide. With lots of foreshadowing and numerous stories, the 18th cycle has ended. I am deeply grateful to all readers for appreciating this somewhat complex and sometimes unfriendly story. Wishing you all a Merry Christmas for the remaining time. 326. It's strange. An eerie sound brushes my ears. No, that's not right. I don't have ears. I died. No, this is strange too. Whenever I die, I always regress immediately so my body is restored. So why don't I have ears? I regain consciousness. This place is exclamation mark. A bizarre sound. No, perhaps it would be better described as a melody. I can feel my soul being transported somewhere along with that sound. And then, I realize I'm in a place that seems like a giant river, flowing against its current. I see. There are scenes in the river. No, to be precise, in the huge yin and yang. The taiji spirals as it flows, and within that spiral, scenes flow like a river. I understand. So this is how my regression works. I am undoubtedly experiencing regression in progress. I must have regained consciousness while traveling back in time. However, nothing like this has happened before. Why is this happening now? As I ponder, I realize I have changed from before. Right, I reached the 4-axis stage, didn't I? Chi, soul, and fate are one. Just as heaven, earth, and heart are one, if you gather power at the plane of Chi, it also affects the higher planes. Therefore, when you gather energy and elevate your realm, your consciousness grows and your lifespan changes. And because Seo Wei-ol elevated me to the 4-axis stage, my physical body reached the 4-axis level of the Earth tribe, and consequently, my consciousness also attained the level of the 4-axis stage. No, wait, as I quietly observe my soul, I feel something more. This is Seo Lee's spiritual power. It's the realm that Seo Lee had achieved. That's right, he had extracted and condensed my death within his body and then passed it on to me. Seo Lee, thank you, I won't forget this. Wo Wang. As soon as I acknowledge him, I feel the 3 great ultimates more distinctly flowing within my soul. I see. The reason I can regain consciousness during this regression. It might be because I had fully raised the 3 great ultimates to the 4-axis stage. The heavenly being stage and the 4-axis stage are clearly steps to completing the heavenly circle and earthly bearings, so why are they divided into the minor boundary and middle boundary? Moreover, although there is a difference in power between the 4-axis stage and the heavenly being stage, it isn't that significant. Yet, why are the boundaries split between the 4-axis stage and the heavenly being stage, and why does the completely separate heart tribe have 3 stages of manifestation up to the heavenly being stage and 3 steps before the throne for the middle boundary? I feel like I'm starting to understand something. The reason the minor boundary and middle boundary are distinctly separated. From the 4-axis stage onward, there is an overwhelming difference in realms and lifespan compared to the previous stages. The reason is attraction force. As the soul itself begins to generate attraction force, it becomes the first realm resembling fate, thus separating the minor boundary and middle boundary, and the attraction force of the heavens resonates with one's own, allowing for an even longer lifespan. While traveling back in time, I try to resist the act of reversing time by moving attraction force. But it's impossible. I can feel that regression is something I can never touch, no matter how much I struggle. Damn, it can't be helped. I decide to quietly wait, entrusting my body to the force pulling me back to the past. While doing so, I observe my soul. What's this? I'm startled as I examine. My soul and my Dharma treasure have completely merged. No, to be precise, even my soul emits energy. And my colorless glass sword is completely synchronized with the energy emitted by my soul. This means I no longer need to drink the white red wine. It has completely synchronized with the energy of my soul. This is the ability of the 4-axis stage. From the 4-axis stage onwards, even if one is killed and the body dissected, the Dharma treasure cannot be retrieved. The Dharma treasure becomes partially merged with the energy of the soul and follows it around. And since it is merged with the energy of the soul, it seems to follow my regression without needing to drink the white red wine. No, perhaps white red wine is actually a method that momentarily makes the Dharma treasure resemble the connection of a 4-axis stage cultivator's Dharma treasure. That is probably the case. I won't need to worry about obtaining white red wine anymore. However, there is something more concerning than the colorless glass sword. The soul-bearing flower given by Yu Hao Te, and the clear scale armor are also merged with my soul. The soul-bearing flower was already a flower entwined with the plane of soul, so I expected this. But I didn't expect even the clear scale armor to be connected to my soul. Well, actually, this is that, but what surprises me the most is something else entirely. Axis. The axis of wealth also follows. Yes, surprisingly, the axis of wealth is also following my soul. Come to think of it, the fact that the colorless glass sword is completely merged with my soul itself must be due to the influence of the axis. And reflecting further, Seo Wei-ol had removed only his axis from my body while being deprived of control. At the time, I thought it was Seo Wei-ol's deep and mysterious divine power, but if the axis is connected to the soul in the first place, it would have been easy for Seo Wei-ol to retrieve the 4 axes of 5 blessings because they were connected to his soul. Back then, when I tried to return to the owner of heavenly punishment in front of Seo Wei-ol, he blocked me by consuming his axis and then mentioned needing to go to the Blood Yin realm. Seo Wei-ol has to go to the Blood Yin realm to replenish his axis whenever it's consumed, so the axes of 5 blessings are not easily obtained and are his precious treasures. He wouldn't have recklessly infused such treasures into my body only to have them taken away. Once an axis is obtained, does it become completely controlled by one's soul? That seems to be the case. Perhaps the difference between the Orthodox Axis Foundation and Heterodox Axis Foundation is that the Heterodox Axis Foundation doesn't synchronize well with the soul because it was taken from someone else. I'm discovering many intriguing facts. As I'm being pulled into the past, I watch the scenes reversing around me. Maybe because I'm traveling back 500 years, the regression is taking some time. Suddenly, while moving backward through time, I look up at what seems to be above and am shocked. That place is the heavens, a vast sky filled with immense darkness. At the center of that sky, the seats Zuo of great beings shine like stars in the dark night. As soon as I recognize a total of 10 seats, I feel a shock that seems to shatter my mind. Heyo, Hiok. I can feel it, the power of the seats. I can see the positions of the seats. Amidst the darkness, the clusters of light are centered around 4 lights with 6 lights positioned around them. And, the 4 central stars have rings around their bodies, like the rings around Jupiter or Saturn. Among the 6 stars surrounding the 4 central ones, one also has a ring around it. A total of 5 stars have rings, while 5 stars do not. Single quote ... question mark single quote. No, looking closely, something seems off. Though I can't pinpoint what's strange. GRRRK. While feeling the agony of my soul being crushed, I recognize the aura emanating from the 10 stars. I feel it. Those stars are beings. Those stars are the eyes that look down on the earth from the sky. A being that seems imprisoned somewhere. A being that feels somehow familiar. A being that gives the feel of an unending and boundless hunger. A being that gives a hazy feeling as if in a confusing, dizzying dream. A being that exudes a determination as immovable as a great mountain. A being that feels both extremely familiar and yet simultaneously repulsive. Didn't recognize them. I feel the 4 stars that have taken their place in the center. One that gives a hollow feeling of emptiness. One that feels like the owner of the soul-bearing flower. One that seems to be watching me right now. One that seems to be the oldest of all. Ah, the moment I feel the last being, I experience a terror and chill I have never felt before. Ah, I've been feeling this strange sensation for a while. I now know what this sensation is. The feeling I had when I was briefly stalked by Kim Yeon on my way home from work. The feeling that someone is chasing after me. I now understand. It's coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. I can feel it, the will that seems to say there's no longer any need to even bother hiding now that I have noticed. From afar, from the future time I had passed, pitch black darkness is spreading and chasing after me. The oldest one, The death god, the master of the netherworld, the heavenly venerable of the underworld, reversing history, is chasing my regression. Zing. The darkness gathers like a hand covering the world and reaches out to me. If it weren't for this peculiar situation of reversing time, it would have been impossible to even perceive the will of the great being, but now it is being conveyed across space-time. Taxidermy Bo Jeet Ceiling Feng Yin Incarceration 2U Detainment Shou Jian Endless Eternity Yang Shi Yang Jie Life Imprisonment Wu Qi Tu Xing. Ta Taxidermy. I would be eternally preserved in the darkness. I would be trapped in the deepest depths of the underworld where no light could ever reach, unable to live or die. No, I think of death as a blessing. But I can never accept something like that. Being unable to die or live, unable to meet anyone, trapped in the deepest abyss of the underworld where no light ever reaches for endless eternity. Even if I die, I can't die trapped by that. I cling even more desperately to the force pulling me into the past with all my might. I have desired death, but not like this. If I'm trapped in a place where I can never meet any connections again, what difference is there between that and regression? Such a thing is absolutely unacceptable. But the hand of darkness chases after me with relentless force. Overwhelmed by a fear I have never experienced even once before, I rack my brain for a way to shake it off. In the midst of this, my gaze falls upon the clear scale armor that is following my regression. I can feel it. The clear scale armor is emitting attraction force. Yu Hao Te, was it said that what true immortals could give us are only calamity? Perhaps Yu Hao Te thought he was giving me a blessing, but they are also the tears of Han Young, who was a judge under the heavenly venerable of the underworld. Clinging to the attraction force emitted from those tears, the heavenly venerable of the underworld is pursuing me. I hurriedly sever the link between the clear scale armor and my soul. Thunk. The clear scale armor vanishes to the other side of time. However, even though the attraction force is gone, the hand continues to chase me through time. No, I'm going to get caught. I'm going to get caught. I feel my mind freezing with fear. Then suddenly, my gaze falls on the soul-bearing flower. Yes, the soul-bearing flower. I grasp the soul-bearing flower linked to my soul. Su. As I use the soul-bearing flower, a brilliant white light erupts, creating a blinding radiance between me and the heavenly venerable of the underworld. Simultaneously, I feel a will emanate from one of the 10 stars in the dark sky, from the one that feels like the owner of the soul-bearing flower. Displeasure, Bu Kue. Rage, Gen Nu. However, the original owner of the soul-bearing flower, though enraged, does not chase after me like the heavenly venerable of the underworld. I vaguely sense that they're hesitant to come here out of fear of the heavenly venerable of the underworld. Pot. As the light fades, I see the darkness of the owner of the netherworld momentarily blocked. Kugugugik. Even so, the heavenly venerable of the underworld tries to extend their hand through the light to grasp me, but eventually, perhaps unable to withstand further reversal of time, fails to reach me. Thus, the heavenly venerable of the underworld can no longer chase after my regression and is left in the future. And I fall to the starting point of my 19th cycle. Hiok. It's a familiar sky. Around me, Jeon Myung-hoon and Hong Fan are observing the night sea from the mass-produced nether crossing ship. I clutch my chest, wiping away the cold sweat. What chased me just now was not the heavenly venerable of the underworld themselves. At most, it was the heavenly venerable extending one arm towards me. And for a being of that level, I absolutely must not die in front of the heavenly venerable of the underworld. If it was the main body of the master of the netherworld, they might have caught me without needing attraction force, merely by reversing history. 19th return. How will this cycle, which already started with a not-so-smooth regression process, unfold? Chapter 327, Axis 1. The first to notice my abnormal state is Hong Fan. Seeing my complexion, Hong Fan quickly approaches and asks, "Master, is there something wrong?" I'm fine. But, is this the body of a vestige? Soon, the vestige's body will collapse, and we will enter the bright cold realm. Pasak. The sky collapses. Following that, the dimensional barrier of the bright cold realm appears before our eyes. 3 forces of attraction. Just like last time, I feel 3 attraction forces grasping my hand. One leads to the flying immortal platform. Another is connected to the Black Ghost Valley. And the last one, I see. Now I finally understand the identity of the last attraction force. Ancient Force, is it? Seat holder of health, deputy judge of the netherworld, Ancient Force True Lord Han Young. I felt the same sensation when reading the will left by Hanyang to Lofty Dragon and from their tears, the clear scale armor. It's clear. This attraction force leads to the ancient force realm. I ponder for a moment. Should I go to the ancient force realm? It's then. Boong. Puhek. Suddenly, the attraction from the ancient force realm intensifies tremendously. This is crazy. The attraction, as if determined to pull me in, wraps around me. Seo Eun-yun, what's going on? Master. Jaeon Myung-hoon and Hong Fan look at me in surprise and ask. It seems another middle realm is pulling me in. Although the bright cold realm is somewhat close to the head realm due to the ascension gate, one can still ascend to other realms like Ancient Force, Nether Ghost, True Devil, and Purple Gold as long as one has the qualifications and uses the serving command seal. Considering I am currently in the state of mid-ascension, from the head realm, I can still reach the Ancient Force realm without spending much time. What should I do? Should I explore another middle realm? That could be a worthwhile choice. More importantly, there are people like Kim Young-hoon, Buk Hyung-hwa, and Seo Ran in the Ancient Force realm. Meeting them might not be a bad idea. However, I frown. No, it's not right. There's too much to be done in the bright cold realm to be swept away by this attraction so absurdly. Besides, I still have to find a way to save Kong Min-hee. Let's head to the bright cold realm first. I make my decision and gather my strength. Wing. Currently, my realm in martial arts is at the first step before the throne. My realm in cultivation is at the 4-axis stage of the heaven and earth tribes. Though I possess the axis of wealth, I only possess it. I need to fully reach the 4-axis stage to utilize it properly. Just as Seo Wei-ol conducted the Axis Foundation practice in the lower realm to acquire the axis, but his actual power was at the Grand Perfection Heavenly Being stage, I am in a similar state. However, as confirmed during my regression, it's possible for a cultivator at the 4-axis stage to manipulate attraction force using just their soul. My cultivation is at the Heavenly Being stage, but my soul is at the 4-axis stage. Kugugugik. I manipulate attraction force, breaking free from the ferocious pull of the ancient force realm. Then, approaching Jaeon Myung-hoon and Hong Fan, I reach out towards the dimensional barrier of the bright cold realm. Quagwagwagwang. With an explosion of light, we enter the bright cold realm. How many hours have passed since Seo Eun-yun entered the bright cold realm? Kugugugugugu. A massive, dark red mist squirms outside the dimensional barrier of the bright cold realm, approaching it. Quirururung. The dark red entity attempts to approach the bright cold realm, but after being scorched by a colossal heavenly tribulation, it lingers around briefly before retreating. Quack. I feel the familiar spiritual energy nearby. From a distance, a figure who seems to be an inspector at the 4-axis stage is flying towards us. I speak to Jaeon Myung-hoon. Jaeon Myung-hoon, are you familiar with the rituals of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect? Yes. What do you need? After the fall of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect in the bright cold realm, paradoxically, he obsessively studied the remnants of the sect. Among them were rituals that can delay heavenly tribulations. Delay the heavenly tribulation for a moment. I have something to do. Without waiting for his response, I sit down and focus my consciousness. Kururung. Dark clouds began to gather in the sky. Just as Azure Tiger Saint, Heo Gwak, Jin Bayak Ho, and Seo Wei-ol reached the 4-axis stage upon ascending to the bright cold realm, I will do the same. Using the attraction force generated by my soul, I begin to draw in an immense amount of heaven and earth spiritual energy from the plane of Qi. At the same time, I rise to the 4-axis stage of the Earth tribe using the energy stored in the colorless glass sword. Kugugugu. Damn it. Give me a warning before you do something like this. Jaeon Myung-hoon curses but quickly plants the flags of the 7 lightning quaking scripture around and sets up a formation. Quaduk, Quaduduk, Pukak. Interacting with the energy of the formation, Jaeon Myung-hoon sacrifices 3 of his fingers of his heavenly golden thunder body to temporarily delay the celestial energy. As the celestial energy shifts, the heavenly tribulation that should have struck during the breakthrough is postponed for 3 days. For a moment, it feels as if the dragon veins of the Heaven-Earth Palace are merging with me. I think I understand why Hun-won recuperates in the Heaven-Earth Palace. Harmony Diao A. The energies of yin and yang are harmoniously enveloping each other in a perfectly balanced way. The Taiji quaking lightning body can twist and disrupt the yin and yang within an opponent's body, but the dragon vein of the Heaven-Earth Palace seems capable of gradually restoring the twisted yin and yang. Quagwagwang. A tremendous roar erupts from my body as radiant light bursts forth. In an instant, I rise to the 4-axis stage. It's a bit lacking. To achieve the 3 great ultimates, I need to use the power of the Ghost King given to me by Seoli and rise to the 4-axis stage with Heaven Tribe methods. However, rising with Heaven Tribe methods requires a ritual, which seems difficult at the moment. While I am gauging my strength, Kuguguguk, Hun-1 emerges, tearing through the space. You all. Greetings, Punglai Palace Lord. It's been a while. I speak, making eye contact with Hun-1. He glares at me with the supervisory eye. Your manners are lacking. I apologize for that. However, I don't have favorable feelings towards you, so I hope you understand. Quote. He glares at me. Despite his fairly dignified and handsome appearance with his topknot hair tied with a black mangjan, his hair is spilling out from between the strands of the topknot and his eyes look sunken, giving him a very haggard appearance. As Yi and Wei had said, he seemed to have been quite a handsome man in his youth, but now he is just a worn-out old man. And one more thing. Jaeon Myung-hoon, the current highest Grand Elder of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder Sect, has cancelled the bounty, so there's no need to capture us. That's right, we won't be pursuing Seo Eun-yun anymore. But Seo Eun-yun, what kind of tone is that towards a grand cultivator? Jaeon Myung-hoon speaks with some courtesy, while looking at me with disapproval due to my attitude. Hun-1 glances at us briefly before nodding and turning around. I immediately open my mouth and draw out the colorless glass sword, and Hun-1 turns back around, swinging his hand at me as if he has been waiting for this moment. Flash! A palm-shaped energy wave imbued with the power of the 5 elements fly towards me. I infuse the All-Heavens sword into the colorless glass sword and deflect Hun-1's strike into the sky. Thud! Kuwang! The sky shakes, revealing the wavering protective barrier that envelops the entire Heaven-Earth Palace. Jaeon Myung-hoon is flabbergasted by the sudden turn of events, while I smirk at Hun-1. What's with the sudden ruckus? Hun-1 stares at me briefly. Giving me a glare, he snaps his fingers. Snap! Bo-wong! The space twists, and before I know it, we are outside Heaven-Earth Palace due to Hun-1's ground shrinking technique. To be honest, I don't like you lot. Despite my goodwill in supporting the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder Sect, you still caused its downfall again. What? Jaeon Myung-hoon's face turns livid with anger at those words. However, Hun-1, ignoring Jaeon Myung-hoon, continues to glare at me as he speaks. But regardless, you are still valuable forces of the human race, so I can't just kill you. Since I've lost all my investment in the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder Sect, you'll have to compensate for my loss by enduring my one strike. If you can withstand it, I will forgive you and disregard the lost investments and support. Quote. No, what nonsense is this? Do you even know what investing means? Jaeon Myung-hoon roars in anger, releasing red lightning, while I chuckle at Hun-1's words. Ha ha. As I burst into laughter, both Jaeon Myung-hoon and Hun-1 stare at me. This is hilarious. What, if we endure a strike, you will forgive us? Let us go. This bastard really. When we seemed weak, he tried to kill us outright, but now that we seem a little threatening, he changes his tune. Knowing Hun-1 well, his changed attitude due to my regression irritates me even more. Squish, squelch, I take out Yuan Yu from my bosom and stand him beside me. Then, I push Yuan Yu while holding his shoulder towards Jaeon Myung-hoon. Well, fine, come at me, Grand Cultivator Hun-1. Twitch, Hun-1's eyes twitch, and he begins to gather attraction into his hands. Good, if that's what you want. It feels as if the yin and yang of heaven and earth are concentrating on Hun-1. Let's see. Kugugugu. As I operate the Azure Spirit Starlight Quintessence Great Method, I transform into a giant of stars. My body grows larger, and tremendous power fills my entire being. As if to make it easier to hit me, Hun-1 floats into the air to match my eye level while preparing the Great Mountain Splitting Emperor technique. In my transformed state, I draw upon the power of the Ghost King gifted by Seoli. Although not fully at the 4-axis stage of the Heaven Tribe, by overlaying General Seo's circuits over my body and amplifying the Heaven Tribe power, I can temporarily exert the strength of one. Kugugugugugu. Faces begin to sprout from my shoulders. Kia, kua, hua. Ghostly wails echo as 18 faces sprout from my starry giant's shoulders. This is crazy. What is that? A monster from the interdimensional void has invaded. The Heaven-Earth Palace Lord is going to slaughter the monster. Palace Lord, please, do not lose. As the giant of starlight with 19 heads appear, the cultivators at the 4-axis and heavenly being stages within the Heaven-Earth Palace scream in terror. Wing. Although the power of the Heaven tribe has only been forcibly amplified using the Mad Lord's circuits, it's enough to summon the 3 great ultimates for a brief moment. Kugugugik. Despite being somewhat unstable, the symbol of the colossal 3 great ultimates blooms like a halo behind the 19 heads. From below, even Jaeon Myung-hoon shows a slightly uneasy expression at this grotesque sight. Chualalalala, the heaven and earth spiritual energy envelops me. At the same time, gathering black and white immortal devil energy in his hands, Hunwon's eyes brightened. Here I come, do not regret this. Come if you dare. Kugugugugu. Great mountain. Immense power radiates from Hunwon's hands. However, I look at Hunwon and smirk. Pasasasik. Salt sprouts from my hands. I channel all of the volcanic power of the 3 great ultimates into my hands. I've always wanted to try this at least once. Chuckling inwardly, I concentrate the power of the Yin Soul Ghost Incantation and White Orchid Blessing Incantation in both hands. Then, mimicking Hunwon, I shout. Great mountain. Surprise and bewilderment flashes in Hunwon's eyes. His gaze vividly screams, "You bastard! What kind of sorcery is this?" I grin and extend my hands towards Hunwon. As expected, the barrier of yin and yang 5 elements emerges around him as well. Hunwon grits his teeth and extends his hand towards me. Splitting Emperor. Splitting Emperor. Flash. The world is dyed white. Pot. In a space left with nothing else but light. 2 beings are clashing with their powers. A starry giant with 19 heads and a halo behind it. And a dignified middle-aged man with a topknot wearing a black mangjan, surrounded by the energies of yin and yang. At some point, as the power of the 2 beings reach their peak and the boundaries between the 2 become blurred within the light, they see something within each other. The giant of stars with 19 heads sees a name in the direction of Hunwon. The name is Cheon Ra, Heavenly Net. Quadududuk. From the body of the starry giant with 19 heads, numerous bizarre rocks, trees, and soil sprout as the giant begins to transform into the great mountain Taishan. Conversely, the dignified middle-aged man with the topknot sees a certain shape in the direction of the giant. It's an inverted cone. Piosiosuk. A salt pillar begins to grow from throughout the middle-aged man's entire body. Both beings, having seen something terrifying within each other, scream simultaneously. 328. The light fades away. Kugugugu. A massive mountain plummets to the ground. No, it's a giant who has sprouted a mountain from its body. Chialpiak. Simultaneously, a middle-aged man with a salt pillar growing from his body also falls to the ground. For a while, both focused on shedding the bizarre foreign substances that have sprouted from their bodies. Pisuk. Piosiosuk. Kug. The middle-aged man, Hunwon, tears at the salt that has grown on his body, regenerating himself. At the same time, the giant, Seo Unyun, also tears off the mountain ranges that have sprouted from his body. Hunwon is the first to recover. After tearing off all the salt chunks and completely regenerating his body, he glares at Seo Unyun. You're someone who shouldn't be left alive. Wing. Hunwon's arms begin to emit attraction force again. Seo Unyun growls, his 38 eyes glowing. What are you saying? Didn't you say you would forgive and let us go if I took a hit? Sorry, but I don't remember that. Hunwon smirks and once again prepares the Great Mountain Splitting Emperor technique with both arms. I don't know what kind of secret art allowed you to mimic my Great Mountain Splitting Emperor technique, but disappear. Ku. Seo Unyun, with a hurried face, brushes off the mountains growing on his body and gathers attraction force in his hands again. However, he displays a frustrated expression. I can't use it consecutively. I see, it's a matter of proficiency. Proficiency. The reason Hunwon can perform continuous attacks with the Great Mountain Splitting Emperor technique is that he has been mastering it for tens of thousands of years. Even for someone like Seo Unyun, it's impossible to freely use the supernatural powers of a technique he has only just acquired. In fact, the only reason that he had been able to use the Great Mountain Splitting Emperor technique even once after seeing the technique formula is because he is a heaven and earth dual cultivation practitioner, is well versed in yin and yang, has mastered all 5 elements, and has all the conditions met through the Yin Soul Ghost Incantation and the White Orchid Blessing Incantation. Typically, just seeing the formula alone would never allow one to use the Great Mountain Splitting Emperor technique. Kugugugu. Hunwon gathers his energy. To make matters worse, Seo Unyun is currently struggling to move due to the rebound effect from seeing the name through using the Great Mountain Splitting Emperor technique. It's a moment of life and death. At that moment, Yuan Yu, who is next to Jaeon Myung-hoon, moves. Surring. In Yuan Yu's hand, the All-Heaven's sword appears. Shukek. Once. Once is enough. To divert Hun Won's concentration while he is intensely focusing on preparing the Great Mountain-Splitting Emperor technique, just once is sufficient. Kwaik. A wound of all of Heaven's colors appears on Hun Won's body, struck by the sword energy of the All-Heaven's sword. He turns around hurriedly to look at me, and I smile brightly as I speak. It seems I know quite a few miscellaneous techniques. When I had grabbed Yuan Yu's shoulder earlier and sent him to Jaeon Myung-hoon, I left a heart essence avatar inside him. Just in case of moments like this. Wu Wang. I emerge from Yuan Yu's body and stand in front of Hun Won. Chiok, 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 Chiok. There are a total of 24 heart essence avatars that I had placed in Yuan Yu's body. Just now, one of them was used to warn Hun Won. Keep your promise, Peng Lai Palace Lord. We would like you to let us go now. Surely, I trust you are not someone who goes back on promises spoken with your mouth. With burning eyes, Hun Won glared at me and spat out his words. At my words, Hun Won glares at me with burning eyes and spits out his words. ... You even turn out to be a vile Heart Tribe spy. Now I have one more reason to not let you go, so why should I? I sigh and say, I may have learned the techniques of the Heart Tribe, but I am clearly of the human race. I may be associated as a vile Heart Tribe, but I am not a spy. More importantly, as someone who has reached the 4th stage of manifestation, I would be acknowledged as a genuine force even by the Grand Cultivator Association. How can those who have learned the Heart Tribe method not be Heart Tribe spies? Recognized by the Grand Cultivator Association, you say. You dream big. Wing. Hun Won laughs mockingly at me as he gathers black and white immortal devil energy in his hands. There's precedent, so why wouldn't they recognize it? I will say it again, keep your promise. What precedent are you talking about? I will say it again, you will all die here. I click my tongue while looking at him. Words won't work, huh? Teast. Out of the 23 remaining Heart Essence avatars, 22 of them enter one clone. One move per avatar. I have warned you multiple times. Pot. Around me, the barrier of yin-yang and 5 elements swirls. And then, Hun Won shouts. Great Mountain Tai Shan. I take the starting form, countering his technique with my own ultimate move. Severing Mountain Duan Yu. Though there's no need to shout technique names in martial arts, in this case, I shout to signify my resolve to crush Hun Won's will to kill us. Hun Won's single strike bursts from his hands, and my 22 sword strikes combine, tearing through heaven and earth with a brilliant burst of light. Take this. Each strike is equivalent to the full power of an integration stage Grand Cultivator. Combining those strikes into the framework of swordsmanship, I maximize their power and unleash them in a single ultimate move. I see Hun Won's entire being, and even his domain within his soul, being shredded by the strike. Of course, in exchange, my entire body is being dismantled. I will likely scatter into 7 types of energy and vanish. But this is just a clone, so it doesn't matter. He should blame himself for foolishly using his ultimate move on a clone. Despite accusing me of being a Heart Tribe spy, it seems he has little actual combat experience against them. All the Heart Essence avatars I had imbued into Yuan Yu through his shoulder have disappeared. And I see Hun Won, struck by the avatar's ultimate move, right before my eyes. Chi. My body returns to human form. It appears maintaining the giant form with the incomplete 3 great ultimates is too much of a strain on my body. Kugiok, Geok, Geo. You must not have fought the Heart Tribe much. But even so, did you not even think to ask her, your fellow Grand Cultivator, about it? Kurluf, Kohaik, Heok, what are you talking about? Well, never mind, are we going to continue? Wing. I gather attraction force in both hands and ask. My energy has recovered. I can use the Great Mountain Splitting Emperor technique again. Moreover, if you wish, I can perform the slash you just saw as many times as needed. Of course, it's a bluff. No matter how strong the 4-axis stage body is, delivering the first step before the throne's strike 22 times consecutively is extremely difficult. Even though it isn't completely impossible to use it to some extent other than 22 times, expecting the same power as before is unrealistic. Above all, the biggest problem is Qian Ra Tien Luo. The moment I recognized that name, I was engulfed in immense fear. It's them, that existence. The being that exudes a determination as immovable as a great mountain. One of the 10 seats I saw during my regression. It's definitely them. That is certainly their true name, Zhen Ming. But it's strange. Both Hun Wan and I should have recognized something terrifying, yet neither of us seemed severely affected. Why? It's clear that Hun Wan had seen it, too, given that he turned into a pillar of salt. However, he recovered too easily. Moreover, Qian Ra is undoubtedly a current governing immortal. Yet, how can I remain so unaffected even after knowing their true name? When I learned the names of deceased true immortals like Yu Haotai and Han Yang, I was severely affected. Most importantly, Yi and Wei casually mentioned the name Qian Ra. At that point, I begin to get confused. Are they not the owner of the seed I saw during my regression? Is it just a name that exudes similar energy? In any case, the crucial point is that I can no longer delay. If I drag it out any further, I don't know what kind of existence would notice me. Do you want to continue, Peng Lai Palace Lord? Pot, light bursts forth from both arms, and salt begins to emerge. Hun Wan flinches at this sight and grits his teeth before speaking. Fine, I will keep my promise. Go, a wise decision. I nod and immediately begin moving with Jian Miang Hun and Hong Fan. Hun Wan groans as he heals his ravaged body with the energy of the Heaven-Earth Central Territory. Damn it, if it weren't for the seizure of the supervisory eye. He groans, clutching his eyes. The character for supervision Jian in both of Hun Wan's eyes are burning exceptionally brightly. Heavenly King Heavenly Domain, within a palace of light where radiance of all colors converge. Under the seat of radiance, 8 shadows are gathered. The 8 colossal beings communicate with one another using metaphysical language. Each time they exchange words, the light of the entire heavenly domain fluctuates. In front of the throne they reside, an entering nirvana true person in the form of a pung bird flies in. Though even one wing of the pung bird is originally large enough to cover a continent, it appears no bigger than a small sparrow before the shadows. To the honorable ones, I bring a message. While observing the Earth axis heavenly domain, the mountain god has sent a message. The 8 shadows converse in metaphysical language for a moment before one speaks to the entering nirvana true person in the language of the lower world to prevent them from going mad. Speak. Yes, the mountain god has said, I will descend to the sun and moon heavenly domain. The true person struggles to not directly face the 8 shadows and delivers the message. A commotion arises among the 8 shadows. The entire heavenly king heavenly domain trembles. One of the shadows, mindful of preventing the entering nirvana true person from going mad, asks. Is that all? Yes, I apologize, but after delivering that message, they began exerting their power in the Earth axis heavenly domain. It seems they intend to descend to the sun and moon heavenly domain at any moment. Relay that it is forbidden, bouquet. Also, ask if they are unaware of the matter of heavenly punishment. Pardon. The entering nirvana true person is startled by the command from the shadows to deliver such a message. Considering the temperament of the mountain god, it's akin to telling the true person to go and die. Nevertheless, the entering nirvana true person grits their beak and nods. I will obey the command. The pung bird then leaves the throne of light. How much time has passed? The pung bird does not return. The shadows communicate in metaphysical language once more. The gist of their conversation is roughly as follows. The messenger bird has not returned. It must have been killed by that tyrant. Did they truly wish for the radiant supreme deity to take action? No matter how powerful the mountain god is, do they not know that without being a heavenly venerable, they cannot compare to the seat of light? This might be for the best. Does the mountain god not have an old grudge with us that needs to be resolved? Must we imprison another supreme deity? It's a laborious task. We already warned 40,000 years ago that interference in the sun and moon heavenly domain is forbidden. It's already been 120,000 years since the power of light was last shown. It seems everyone is underestimating the owner of light. It's about time for the owner of light to act. The 8 shadows look up at the seat of light above them. As the owner of light has decreed, we shall convey to the mountain god. Shortly after, the 8 shadows disappear from the hall. Only the seat of light continues to emit an even brighter radiance from above. Flinch. I suddenly look up at the sky. For some reason, I feel a chill run down my spine, but as the sunlight brightens, the ominous feeling that had brushed past me fades away. What was that? It passed too quickly for me to dwell on, but I decide to remain vigilant. Hun Wan might suddenly chase after me from behind, the Mad Lord might emerge from the ground, or Seo Weiol. Ho ho, greetings, Taoist Seo. Ah, yes. Actually, I was about to call you. I look at Seo Weiol, who has approached me at some point with an unpleasant smile. Ho ho, it's impressive that you noticed my concealment technique. By the way, you've reached the 4-axis stage already. Hong Fan, Jaeon Myung Hoon. Cover your ears for a moment. They obediently cover their ears at my words. I look at Seo Whale, who has appeared in front of me with a disturbing laugh. In my past life, he only came when I called, but now he spoke to me first without my beckoning. The reason is obvious. Are you surprised that the tainted soul filling the heavens within me has disappeared, Seo Whale? Freeze. Seo Whale's body stiffens. If you want, I'll give you another chance. Try again. You can sacrifice a few personalities if needed. I spread my arms and speak nonchalantly. Then, Seo Whale's eyes turn into those of a reptile. Quote. Ho ho. If he tries to parasitize me again, I can incinerate him with the karmic fire burning within me. If he doesn't attempt to parasitize me out of caution, I can manipulate him as I wish. You've enjoyed using others for a long time, haven't you, Seo Whale? Now it's my turn. 329. A brief standoff occurs between Seo Whale and me as we lock eyes. Seo Whale seems to gaze at me for a moment before smiling faintly. Ho ho, you seem to be a fellow Taoist. As expected, is Taoist Seo also someone from above? He chuckles and points towards the sky. Above, you say. I shrug, pretending not to understand, and Seo Whale chuckles as if to say not to joke around. Ho ho, I came here knowing everything, Taoist. Since you've come to the Saha world, it would be wise to accept my help. If you know about tainted soul filling the heavens, you would know that as long as it exists, this world revolves around me. He extends his hand towards me with a gentle expression. An immortal art that makes the world move according to my desire. As Taoist should already know, as long as this immortal art exists, it's overwhelmingly advantageous to join forces with me, no matter what your goal is. Ho ho, please, tell me. What is your purpose here? But I scoff. So, you're not even going to attempt brainwashing. Ho ho, attempting to use immortal arts recklessly on someone of your standing could lead to serious trouble, would it not? As I look at Seo Whale, I roll my eyes. I feel it. Having experienced Seo Whale before, I know. His configuration is imprinting itself in me. At this rate, I will be consumed by Seo Whale at some point, just like in my previous life. If it weren't for me falling and escaping Seo Whale's grasp once, I would never have noticed. So, this thing you're imprinting now, should I think of it as a communication device? Seo Whale flinches slightly at my words, then smirks. As expected, you've figured it out right away. Stop joking around. If you want to genuinely collaborate, show some sincerity. I speak coldly, glaring at Seo Whale. He laughs as if he can't help it. Ho ho, I apologize. As you know, I have a bit of a playful nature. Who are you? I am Blood Yin. Oh, Blood Yin. I squint my eyes. Does a guy who calls himself Blood Yin not even sense the karmic fire burning in my soul? What an absurd statement. Of course, I know this guy has some kind of relationship with Blood Yin, who is suspected to be a leftover of Yu Hao Te. He mainly uses devilish arts that originate from Blood Yin. I reply with a sardonic smile. It's the first time I've heard that the Blood Yin originating from the noble Yu Hao Te is playful. Ho ho, it seems my personality changed a bit after I got a new name. I glare at Seo Whale, feeling the configuration still writing and expanding its domain within my mind. I have one question, Seo Whale. If he takes over my soul, he will immediately be burned by karmic fire, and if he doesn't, I can manipulate him accordingly. I ask without feeling any urgency. What do you think about the Qian Ra Tian Luo? At my question, Seo Whale asks back as if confused. Who are you referring to? You call yourself Blood Yin and don't even know Qian Ra. At my question, Seo Whale smiles brightly. Ho ho, of course, I know. But as you know, they are not something I can mention carelessly, no. Seo Whale points above, again, as if hinting at some secret, but I find it ridiculous. So, he's basically saying, I don't know what you're talking about, so let's just skip this part because it's difficult to talk about it here, huh? I smile even more sarcastically and speak. Then, you must also not know much about the events related to the governing immortals 40,000 years ago. Ho ho, governing immortals. Yes, the governing immortals. Those beings higher than the Netherworld's chief judge Nether Devil True Lord Yu Hao Te, reincarnation judge Nether Ghost True Lord Yu Su Ryan, and deputy judge Ancient Force True Lord Hein Yang. Quote. The heavenly venerable of the underworld, who dispatched the tribunal, including the lofty dragon true person, to the sun and moon heavenly domain, the heavenly venerable who opposes the heavenly venerable of the underworld, Saltree heavenly venerable, and those other great and honorable seat holders. Quote. Mentioning great beings will inevitably draw their attention. However, considering that I already encountered the heavenly venerable of the underworld when meeting Yang Su Jin's remnant thoughts by this point, he will undoubtedly be watching me already. And regarding the Saltree heavenly venerable, trusting in Yu Hao Tai's words of their generous and lenient nature, and knowing that they fear the heavenly venerable of the underworld, I mentioned them believing that since the heavenly venerable of the underworld is already watching me, the Saltree heavenly venerable would not do anything to me. I feel like my head could explode at any moment, but I can endure it because I had built my resistance to these names in my previous life. However, Xiao Wei'ol only smiles for a long time in response to my words and remains silent. What's the matter, self-proclaimed blood Wyan Taoist? I smile sardonically and approach Xiao Wei'ol, placing my hand on his shoulder. If you are truly blood yin, are they not your dear superiors? Quote. Listening a little more about governing immortals might. At that moment, clench, Xiao Wei'ol suddenly reaches out and grabs my shoulder. Flinch, I'm startled, but at the same time, a triumphant smile spreads across my face. Have you made up your mind, Xiao Wei'ol? Well, I understand. You truly are a true immortal. Chet. A serious light flickers in Xiao Wei'ol's eyes. I have always regarded you as a subject of vigilance, but now I must elevate you to a target of danger. Indeed, he's decided to brainwash me. Go ahead, Xiao Wei'ol. Brainwash me completely and burn in the karmic fire. I smile faintly, having laid a trap for Xiao Wei'ol. I can feel it. Through the configuration Xiao Wei'ol imprinted in me, Xiao Wei'ol's personalities begin to infiltrate within me. Jing, I first protect my heart essence and hide it deep within the depths of my mind. Simultaneously, as I become immobilized, Xiao Wei'ol reaches out to my head. The observing Jian Myonghun and Hong Fan try to intervene, but Xiao Wei'ol does not stop. Clench, he places his hand on my head. Personalities of the tainted soul filling the heavens rush to infiltrate my body. Through those personalities, Xiao Wei'ol begins speaking to me. Since my goal is to surpass them, anyway, I will test it through you. Xiao Wei'ol, who grasps my head, starts pouring energy into it. The energy enters through the Baihui point, piercing the center of my brain where the pituitary gland is, then circles my upper dantian once before erupting through my glabella. It's a familiar mind-awakening spell. Originating from the Black Ghost Valley, it was transmitted to the Sea Dragon tribe, with whom they had fought for many years, and from there to the Mokli clan and Jin clan influenced by them. It was associated with talent awakening and fundamentally served as a spell that clears the mind, cast in the Sea Dragon Palace. Why use a mind-clearing spell during brainwashing? Ah, I see. I now finally understand why Xiao Wei'ol used such a mind-clearing spell. Wing, this spell isn't to clear the mind of the brainwashing target. It's a spell to clear and strengthen the mind of Xiao Wei'ol's personality, formed within the target's mind. I see. Tainted soul filling the heavens is an immortal art that replaces the target with oneself. Depending on the situation, it could implant multiple personalities, 2, 3, even dozens. When brainwashing a powerful target, it aims to clear and strengthen the minds of the multiple implanted personalities to quickly dominate the target's mind. The reason such a spell was set up in the Sea Dragon Palace is obvious. It was to easily implant the tainted soul filling the heavens on anyone entering the Sea Dragon Palace. And I realize that Xiao Wei'ol is genuinely expending a significant number of personalities from the hundred of millions he possesses. This bastard, Jing, grade -1 dangerous entity identified. Commencing brainwashing, attempting to consume 400 feet selves. This is somewhat dangerous. Kugugugugik, a tiny fraction of the hundreds of millions of Xiao Wei'ols. Merely 400 or so, but these personalities are all being systematically implanted into me, sacrificing themselves to replace me with Xiao Wei'ol, with the replaced Xiao Wei'ol's mind gradually clearing. Kugugugugu. Although I haven't collapsed yet, the domain of my heart essence begins to shake, and I realize that if the number of implanted Xiao Wei'ol personalities exceed 1,000, even my heart essence world wouldn't be guaranteed. No, but at the same time, through contact with Xiao Wei'ol's tainted soul filling the heavens, I realize that there is something even more, truly frightening. Xiao Wei'ol's tainted soul filling the heavens is still incomplete. There is still one condition left for the true tainted soul filling the heavens to activate, and I can sense that CO Whale hasn't triggered that condition yet. Chills. Haha, how spine-chilling. This damned guy, CO Whale, who at some point already imprinted his configuration into Jaeon Myung-hoon's brain, is using Jaeon Myung-hoon to subdue Hong Fan while slowly brainwashing me. When the proportion of CO Whale within my soul exceeds 70%. Crackle. I faintly hear the sound of embers sparking. I smile within my heart essence. Come on, feel it. Crack, crackle, crackle. Warururururururu. Quote. Exclamation mark quote. CO Whale flinches and shudders. My karmic fire clings to CO Whale, who is trying to seize me. Last time, he severed the connection with tainted soul filling the heavens while being wary of me, but this time, fully determined to brainwash me, CO Whale himself directly connected the tainted soul filling the heavens to me. Warurururuk. My karmic fire originally only burns me. It doesn't particularly transfer to others. However, CO Whale is trying to steal me, to make me become him. Thus, the karmic fire begins to transfer directly to CO Whale, to his tainted soul filling the heavens. Kuog. Jaeon Myung-hoon screams. The karmic fire nested in his mind ignites. The one who had subdued Hong Fan is now being supported by Hong Fan, while I laugh as I watch CO Whale start to burn fiercely in front of me. CO Whale, with karmic fire clinging to his tainted soul filling the heavens, can't overcome his own terrible karmic sins and falls away from me. Ku. Ho. Ho. You're still laughing, huh? How disgusting. I smirk as I regain control of my body with my eyes glowing. CO Whale's configurations, still burning, lingers within my mind. But CO Whale hastily severs the connection between tainted soul filling the heavens and the personalities imprinted in my mind. However, I smirk again. Have a taste of the vile Heart Tribe. Sirring. It's interesting. The Heart Tribe's first step before the throne and CO Whale's tainted soul filling the heavens have similarities. They are quite similar in the sense that both can imprint themselves onto their opponent. I forge my heart essence, holding the heart essence avatar of myself imbued with CO Whale's configurations in my hand. All Heaven's Sword. Single strike. Bo-ong. The All Heaven's Sword pierces CO Whale at a speed he can't even react to, embedding itself inside him. And then, I forcibly reconnect the burning configurations of CO Whale within it to CO Whale's tainted soul filling the heavens. Kurg. CO Whale trembles in pain while starting to retrieve the 4-5 blessings axes of health, wealth, longevity, and love of virtue within his body. It seems he is trying to disconnect this body entirely from the tainted soul filling the heavens. However, I laugh again. No, you cannot, because I won't allow it. Kugugugugik. I use the wealth axis within me to emit an attraction force. My attraction force captures CO Whale's attraction force, sealing it within his body. Finally, the smile disappears from CO Whale's face. CO Whale hastily forms hand seals and begins to flee. Pot. He who transforms into his original sea dragon form hurriedly tries to escape from me. If he gets far enough from me, he could break the attraction curse I placed on him, reclaim his 5 blessings axis, and sever the connection with tainted soul filling the heavens to stop the spread of the karmic fire. However, I smile coldly. I told you, CO Whale. A glint shines from my eyes. Flash. In an instant, I become a flash of light. CO Whale tries to escape by even using the ground shrinking technique, but it's useless. Hoick. Ho. Ho. You can't escape. Clench. I quickly lunge and grab CO Whale's tail. He seems to try to sever his own tail, but I invoke the Azure Spirit Starlight Quintessence Grade method. Kugwagwagwagwagwa. My body transforms into a giant of stars. I grip his tail and start swinging him around. Wham, 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 wham. Ku. CO Whale seems to attempt using his demon abilities to break free. Boom. I slam him to the ground, still holding onto his tail. Kugugugugugoo. The ground shakes violently, causing earthquakes everywhere. Ho ho, such an attack only tickles me. Oh, really? Since you seem to like it, I'll tickle you more. Ho ho. CO Whale opens his mouth and shoots a beam of light at me. Quagwagwagwang. Indeed, the breath of the dragon race is certainly powerful. I momentarily lose hold of CO Whale, and he starts to flee again. Kudik. Kududude, kududududuke. Faces begin to sprout from my shoulders once more. Stop right there. Quagwagwagwang. I chase after him, the 3 great ultimates glowing behind me. In an instant, we cross the Heaven-Earth Central Territory and traverse through the territories of numerous races. Spirit Scale Race Territory. There, I finally caught Co Whale again. Somehow, it seems he has managed to drive out the karmic fire by sacrificing personalities. The karmic fire no longer burns within him. That won't do. Boong. Quack. I swing the All Heavens sword again, forcibly reconnecting the karmic fire to his tainted soul filling the heavens. Co Whale's eyes are bloodshot. The karmic fire doesn't just cause him personal pain, it truly harms his tainted soul filling the heavens. He might really be feeling fear. It won't be easy. Flash. He opens his mouth and shoots a beam of light again. But I don't back down, and from my 38 eyes, I shoot beams infused with ghostly energy in response. Quagwagwagwang. The beams we emit shake the territory of the Spirit Scale Race. The Spirit Scale Race members in the area scream and flee in all directions. Wah! Monsters are fighting. Just what race is that? Damn it, is that monster hunting the sacred dragon race to eat? Just run, or we'll be eaten too. To an onlooker, it might certainly look like a malevolent starry giant with 19 heads hunting a blue dragon. But such trivial matters are none of my concern. I grab Co Whale by the neck and bring him close to my face. Co Whale, do you not wish to learn more about the governing immortals? Do you not have any interest in the vast cold heavenly lord or the purple gold heavenly lord? If you wish, I can tell you more about the tribunal of the netherworld. Yu Hao Te, Yu Su Ryan, Hein Young. Are you not curious about the salt pillar in the head realm? I have the astronomical data observed from the head realm interpreted through the understanding before breakthrough insights of the heaven tribe methods. Let me tell you about it. I also have knowledge gained from directly facing heavenly punishment. Whisper 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 whisper. Grabbing the bastard's head so he can't escape, I endlessly whisper great knowledge with my 19 heads. Co Whale struggles, like mad, to escape from me, but he can't escape from someone who inherited the teachings of Azure Tiger Saint. At the same time, with my heart essence burrowing all heaven's sword, I begin to dig through the depths of his tainted soul filling the heavens. I'll find it. I tear into the depths of his tainted soul filling the heavens. To find the real clue that will completely overthrow Co Whale's tainted soul filling the heavens. And just then, I sense it, at the center of the tainted soul filling the heavens. There is something there, hidden in the deepest, darkest depths. I can feel what he desires to conceal. That is, I see, Co Whale. My 38 eyes glow with glint. I see, you have a main body, don't you? Somewhere, in this world, Co Whale's main body exists. No, should I even call it his main body? There exists a central point, around which all the personalities of his tainted soul filling the heavens revolve. I can instinctively feel it. If I destroy this central point, his tainted soul filling the heavens will scatter. And then, Co Whale's expression, which has been trying to maintain a playful smile, completely changes. Expressionless, he looks at me with eyes devoid of any emotion. ... Very well, I have lost. Then, quadudududuke, his body begins to transform. A scarlet blood mist envelops him. Co Whale transforms from the appearance of a divine sea dragon into the shape of a devilish monster, Mowu, emitting a red-black aura in an instant. Chuarururuk. Co Whale's body stretches and extends, wrapping around me like a rope. Since the Mad Lord Zhou crack, Co Whale, wrapping around my body, speaks in an emotionless voice. No one has ever disrupted my plans as much as you have. From now on, I will devise plans to destroy you along with Zhou. Rejoice. Haha, do as you wish. I laugh, staring into his eyes. I will find your main body. With my eyes blazing with ghost fire, I meet Co Whale's gaze, which emanates devilish energy. I will find your main body and utterly annihilate you. Because of Co Whale, because of his schemes, how many lives have been ruined? Zhou, Yu Ryan, Co. Ran. He even tried to make his own subordinate, Yuan Li, into a puppet. And because of that Yuan Li, I lost too much. Grade -1 dangerous entity Co Unyun. Thanks to you, my plans will be delayed by thousands of years. The 5 blessings axes will be abandoned. Kugugugugu. I feel it. This is certainly dangerous. The 5 blessings axes within Co Whale are emitting light. Drawing upon the power of the 3 great ultimates, I fill my hands with black and white energy. Flash. Seo Whale detonates all of his 5 blessings axes, and I counter his self-destruction at the cost of my cultivation with the Great Mountain Splitting Emperor technique. This time, the barrier of yin-yang and 5 elements protects me. Finally, I've got a clue on how to destroy you, Seo Whale. While self-destructing, and channeling the energy of his self-destruction towards me, I can feel Seo Whale's will to destroy me. Just like in the previous cycle, when I felt Seo Whale's determination to, unquestionably, destroy the Mad Lord when he went for the confirmation kill on the Mad Lord who suffered at the hands of Zhang Ik, I can now see his unwavering resolve to eliminate me by any means necessary. Yes, I have finally become Seo Whale's equal adversary. 330. Light fades away, and I realize that my body is in shambles. Damn, I feel like I'm going to die. However, I feel as if my spirits are soaring. I can tell, Seo Whale has truly suffered significant damage from me. Although he's someone who never speaks the truth, it's true that his plans have been greatly delayed. Since he sacrificed the 5 blessings axes he cherished so much, he will be running around to retrieve them again. Given the damage inflicted on him by the karmic fire, he won't be able to show his face or act openly for a long time. Cough, cough, I collapse to the ground, vomiting blood. In the distance, I can sense the presence of several spirit scale race members. It seems they are coming to investigate as the presence of the monsters has faded. I don't have the strength to even move a finger. The spirit scale race isn't particularly friendly with the human race, so it would be quite troublesome if they capture me. Of course, I have means to escape even in my weakened state, but I continue to stay down. Kuururung. Red lightning flashes as Jaeon Myung-hoon clicks his tongue in irritation. This bastard, can't you at least say something before you act? The karmic fire attached to Seo Whale through me has already gone out within Jaeon Myung-hoon. The karmic fire is originally meant to burn only me, it was only due to the peculiar situation of Seo Whale trying to take over my very existence that it burned others. Hence, it isn't strange that the fire has already been extinguished within Jaeon Myung-hoon. Hong Fan, who has flown in with Jaeon Myung-hoon, helps me up. We'll head to the human race territory first, but we should perform some emergency treatment before that. What emergency treatment? A good night's sleep will fix everything. If you rely solely on your vitality just because you've reached the 4-axis stage, you'll end up in trouble. Hong Fan takes out some poison liquids from his storage scroll and mixes something on the spot before pouring it into my mouth. Instantly, I feel life force surging through my body, and accelerated regeneration. As expected from Hong Fan, who reached the pinnacle in dealing with medicinal poisons, the efficacy of his concoction is remarkable. Now that the treatment is done, let's get out of here. It's risky to stay in another race's territory for too long. Jaeon Myung-hoon grabs both Hong Fan and me by our necks and uses the flying escape technique. Kuururung. We are enveloped in a streak of red lightning, flying towards the human race territory. A week passes like that. We arrive at the human race territory and officially register our re-ascension at Temporal Fate Island. Jaeon Myung-hoon, using his authority as Grand Elder of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder Sect, officially lifts my bounty. Then, we head towards Thunder Spirit Island. Kuururung. In my past life, I was assimilated by Seo Whale and lived in Seo Lee's body, so I couldn't find it. Together with Jaeon Myung-hoon, I head to the ruins of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder Sect on Thunder Spirit Island, to the place where Hong Su Ryong had died. Though the funeral was held in the lower realm, her remains are actually here. Stomp, stomp, perhaps it's because I returned her to the soil with the Yin Soul Ghost incantation. There's no body at the place where Hong Su Ryong had died. I brush the soil where she had died. This soil is her remains. Jaeon Myung-hoon went to find Jin So-hae's cave residence, and Hong Fan gave us some space for privacy. Creek. Using a wood attribute spell, I create a wooden shovel and slowly dig into the ground, burying the soil infused with her body. I then create a small mound and sit in front of it, pouring a drink. It's been a while. I'm back. Drip. Come to think of it, this is something I should have done immediately upon returning in my past life. But because of Seo Whale, I didn't even think about it and passed it by. Is it comfortable there? There's no response. I hope the death god is kind to others, even if he is harsh with us. I wish for your peace after death. Rambling might seem pathetic and unsightly. But maybe such pathetic things are necessary in the life of humans. I ramble and complain for a while in front of her grave. A ghost's resentment accumulates because it cannot be conveyed to the living. Perhaps it's because I am also a ghost who can't die even after death. Just rambling to Hong Su Ryong like this makes me feel a bit lighter. Evening comes. I finally finish my rambles. Anyway, a lot has happened. There's no response. But even though I feel sadness, my heart is at peace. Since the regression point was fixed, my connection with Hong Su Ryong did not vanish beyond time. It didn't disappear into nothingness. I bid farewell to Hong Su Ryong and leave the place of her mound. Hyunghwa, what if the regression point had been fixed after her death? Though she wouldn't be alive and moving, the Buck Hyunghwa that shared a connection with me wouldn't disappear. Suddenly, I remember the feelings Seo Lee left me with in my past life, the emotions he felt for me. Even if his body becomes soil, his soul will regress and endlessly repeat life. Even if his body remains here, his soul will move to another time, and he will no longer be able to reminisce about those connections that remember him. Only the records stored in the canvas of myriad forms and connections will comfort Seo Eun-yun, warmly but sorrowfully. Russell. Suddenly, the canvas of myriad forms and connections unfold around me naturally. It's full of cherished memories. To others, it might look like empty mist, but to me, they are irreplaceable pillars of my heart. Surik. I reach out to the past figures inside the canvas of myriad forms and connections, those who laughed and chatted, cried and shed tears, and bled and raged. My hand passes through them so emptily. After all, they are just records. I stared at them for a moment. And then I see an annoying gaze inside the canvas of myriad forms and connections. It's Seo Wei-ol. Regardless of what happened, he is also in here. Haha, it must be frustrating for Taoist Seo to have created such a terrifying technique and not be able to use it properly, only to suffer from me. Looking at him, then around the canvas of myriad forms and connections, I set my goal for this life. This life, the canvas of myriad forms and connections, shall I uncover its secrets? How did Buck Hyunghwa connect to my canvas of myriad forms and connections? Is she still inside it somewhere? What exactly is the relationship between it and my immortal beast bloodline? Can the canvas of myriad forms and connections counter Seo Wei-ol's tainted soul filling the heavens? There might be a possibility to track his main body through counter-assimilation, so understanding the secrets of the canvas of myriad forms and connections is crucial. And above all, Sararik. I smile bitterly as I look at my hand, which emptily passes through the scenes in the canvas of myriad forms and connections. The memory of watching the sunset with Kong Min-hee at Namsan, which Seo Lee wanted to remember so much, brushes past me. I will delve deeper into the canvas of myriad forms and connections. Simply watching it is too sorrowful. Just as Seo Lee thought. The canvas of myriad forms and connections is so warm yet also so lonely. To better feel this warmth, even if it's just a little. The primary goal of this life will be to find a way to manifest the power of the canvas of myriad forms and connections externally. It's a goal connected to the issue of my immortal beast bloodline, countering Seo Wei-ol's tainted soul filling the heavens, and the matter of Buck Hyunghwa entering the canvas of myriad forms and connections. As of now, it is the most important issue. Save Kim Yeon as well, and Kong Min-hee, and Oh Yun-sok. Now, my power is not so lacking. Do I not have at least the qualifications to save those who I want to save? Saving them is not even a goal. Saving them a matter of course Dang Ran and doesn't even need to be set as a goal. I rise into the sky and look down towards the direction of Jaeon Myung-hoon. He is gazing at the sky with a sentimental expression, gently caressing the wooden box with Jin So-hae's hand in front of her cave residence. Hong Fan. Yes, master. I speak to Hong Fan, who is waiting. I'll be heading to Heavenly Human Island for a while. Tell Jaeon Myung-hoon that I've gone to Heavenly Human Island to obtain the Grand Cultivator qualification, and give him this method. Yes, I understand. I take out a jade slip from my storage scroll, record the formula for the 6 extremes Yin Thunder body, and hand it to Hong Fan. I'll be back in a few days, so make sure he reaches great achievement by then. It appears to be quite a high-level method. If it's a lightning path method, there's nothing the current Jaeon Myung-hoon can't learn. Considering that there are things Jaeon Myung-hoon must accomplish with the 6 extremes Yin Thunder body, it's better for him to learn it in advance. After giving a few more instructions to Hong Fan, I prepare to head to Heavenly Human Island. Then, I feel goosebumps all over my body once again. What is it? Looking up at the sky, the evening sunset glow seems to brighten alongside the distant rising moonlight. As the light grows brighter, the sensation fades. It's definitely the same feeling I had before meeting Seo Wei-ol. Is Seo Wei-ol up to something again? Or is it something else? Keeping my guard up, I continue towards Heavenly Human Island. Earth Tribe, True Dragon Alliance. Hyeonium's cave residence. Hyeonium, who has transformed into his true form and is meditating, suddenly opens his eyes wide. A subtle blood light shui guang emanates from Hyeonium's eyes. The main body is communicating. What's going on? Wo Wang. Hyeonium seems to gaze towards somewhere momentarily. Then, upon recognizing the signal coming from a distant place, his eyes narrow sharply. What? Those beings are going to war. To prevent that from descending upon the sun and moon domain. Fear fills Hyeonium's eyes. Querararik, instantly transforming from his dragon form into his human form, Hyeonium clenches his trembling fists. His hands are already drenched in cold sweat. Those ominous beings fighting each other, it's good news. Even if one side wins, the other won't be able to exert their power for a while. It's a good thing. He tries to calm his trembling voice, forcing himself to imagine a positive outcome as if trying to overcome his fear. At that moment, Hyeonium, who seems to be communicating with a distant place, suddenly shivers and looks at the void. Wait, main body, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by laying low for a while? Didn't you say you found traces of authority? Wait, don't cut off communication. Main body, at least give me some instructions. But Hyeonium stops moving his hand that was waving towards the void. After a while, he clenches his fists tightly. Damn it, they said they found traces of authority and now they want to lay low to avoid the fallout. Seemingly enraged, Hyeonium suddenly flinches as the moonlight of the deepening night streams into his cave residence, stepping back as if avoiding the light. His hands are trembling like an aspen leaf. Recalling some unpleasant memories, Hyeonium grits his teeth. That's right, perhaps lying low for a while is a good idea. Ho, ho ho, he hides himself in the darkness, breathing heavily. Heavenly Lotus Mountain. At the top, above the white jade pavilion. Surrounded by white light, Sacred Master Baekwoon is looking at the sky with a shocked expression. This is insane, they're clashing at the borders. Ha, it's fortunate to have become a Sacred Master. The true persons of the astral realm must be screaming in agony by now. Sacred Master Baekwoon, whose hands are trembling, takes a deep breath and forces a bitter smile. This isn't the time to feel relieved. If that tyrant descends, this entire heavenly domain will turn into the Asura path. I must pray for their victory. Hyeonium and Sacred Master Baekwoon. Other sacred vessels, sacred masters of the middle realms. True persons of the astral realm. Those who know of the true myths are reading the celestial energy, sensing the movements of unfathomable colossal beings, and trembling in fear. Using the flying escape technique to reach Heavenly Human Island, I suddenly turn my gaze downward, just below Heavenly Human Island. Below there is the Grand Nirvana Temple. I debated whether to enter the Grand Cultivator Association then see her, but decided to visit the Grand Nirvana Temple first. First, sparring with her and receiving guidance on the first step before the throne, then stabilizing my realm, and then being properly recognized as a Grand Cultivator would be the best course of action, right? Furthermore, due to preventing Seo Weol's self-destruction, my Heaven Tribe cultivation decreased, leaving me at the mid-heavenly being stage. If possible, it wouldn't be bad to reach Grand Perfection Heavenly Being using the newly obtained formula for the Grand Perfection stage by Seo Lee. Now that I'm free from Seo Weol, I can finally understand. Yang Su Jin had said that if one blesses in Anyin, they would receive the blessing of the strongest ender. But why did I not know of it and only receive the blessing of Heavenly Circle's formula through Seo Lee's body? The reason is simple. The strongest ender had blessed Seo Eun-yun, not Seo Weol. At that time, Seo Lee was much less assimilated by Seo Weol compared to me, and when he obtained the formula, he hadn't fully differentiated into Seo Lee but still recognized himself as Seo Eun-yun, thus allowing him to obtain it. Everything is all because of Seo Weol. Thinking about it this way makes me angry again. But it doesn't matter. Seo Weol should be infuriated as well, having lost the 5 blessings axes because of me. I arrive at the valley where the Grand Nirvana Temple is located. Out of respect for her, I decide to land at the entrance of the valley and walk rather than entering the temple directly. I also retract my consciousness into my body, not wanting to be disrespectful by scouting ahead. It's a sign of respect for a martial artist who has reached such a high realm. As I walk through the valley, I feel something strange. Why are the Tanghua paintings gone? Previously, Tae Yal Jaeon had painted Tanghuas across the entire valley. But now, the valley looks clean. Feeling a sense of strangeness, I walk through the valley. And when I arrive at the site of the Grand Nirvana Temple, I feel a chill down my spine. The temple still exists, but it appears neglected, dilapidated, and crumbling in places. Thorn bushes have grown all around, and the main gate of the temple is on the verge of collapse. It looks like a haunted house. What happened here? I can't hide my dismay as I enter the Grand Nirvana Temple. The main hall, the Grand Nirvana Hall, is on the verge of collapse due to complete neglect, and piles of garbage are scattered everywhere. I venture inside the Grand Nirvana Hall. The interior of the hall where rituals are held for Buddhism is completely rotten, and the roof had caved in from the lack of maintenance. The room where Tae Yal Jaeon had served tea to me and Kim Yeon is utterly ruined and in a complete wreck. The once abundant artistic Tangwa paintings are nowhere to be found. At that moment, I suddenly notice a presence somewhere. As I step out of the Grand Nirvana Hall, I hear someone yawning from inside the monks' quarters. I walk to the monks' quarters with hurried steps. Upon closer inspection, I see that the monks' quarters are somewhat maintained and show signs of habitation. Is anyone there? Before entering, I call out towards the presence I feel inside. Bang! Suddenly, the door to the monks' quarters opens. Flinch. A woman with jet black hair is scratching her belly and rubbing her eyes inside. Her hair is disheveled, and it seems she hasn't washed in quite a while as it emits a strange smell. The aura of a nascent soul cultivator emanates from her, likely at the mid-nascent soul stage. Who are you? She looks at me with a sullen face and then flinches. Oop, it's a senior. Please excuse this junior for her unkempt appearance. She seems to gauge my cultivation level, and upon sensing my heavenly being stage spiritual energy, she hurriedly tidies her disheveled hair and hastily straightens her clothes. Please, come in. No, this room is a bit. I'll lead you to the guest room. As if flustered, she hastily moves to guide me to an adjacent room next to the monks' quarters. I stare at her with a stern expression. When I glance into the room she came out of, I see a tremendous mess. It's the exact opposite of where the tidy Tae Yal Jaeon used to stay. Even the guest room she leads me to seems quite messy, judging by the sounds of frantic cleaning coming from inside for quite some time. After a while, she invites me in. Senior, everything is ready. Please, come in. I enter, scrutinizing her face with a stern expression. She lowers her eyes fearfully at my stern gaze. Usually, I would have shown some consideration for a lower-level cultivator, but I'm not in the mood for that now. I sit down and look around. Where's the tea? Pardon. Please forgive me, senior. There used to be a tea that my master used to brew, but due to my neglect, it all rotted away 500 years ago. There are no Tangwa paintings in the room. Oh, I apologize, as I haven't received teachings from my master. Actually, I think I have been taught but, as I never practiced it even once, I forgot, haha. I look sternly at this woman who bears the same face as Tae Yal Jaeon. She has the same face, but everything about her is different. What is your name? Pardon. Oh, I don't really have a name. I was abandoned here at the Grand Nirvana Temple when I was young, and my master, who was the head monk, took me in and raised me. Master told me to find my parents when I reached the nascent soul stage and didn't give me a dharma name. But when I reached the nascent soul stage and saw my life's flashbacks, I realized my parents didn't name me either and just abandoned me. Haha, my master used to call me things like, rascal-like thing, dirty thing, or, lazy thing. Senior, please call me whatever you like. She scratches her head awkwardly as she speaks. I fail to soften my stern expression, and she cringes further at my stern gaze. Take this one move, Bo Wong. I draw the All-Heaven sword and launch an attack at her at the plane of soul. But she doesn't even recognize the All-Heaven sword, staring blankly at me. Surik, the sword strike from the All-Heaven sword passes right through her. If she were Tae Yal Jaeon, she would have gladly accepted the strike. But this woman doesn't even perceive it. Who are you? I glare at her and I ask. Could the sudden chill I felt when the moonlight brightened earlier be because of this? Terrified by my glare, her head hits the ground as she trembles. Haik, spare me, senior. Even though living is meaningless, I don't want to die yet. I think dying would hurt too much. Could you please spare even a bit of mercy? Her past is exactly as I had heard from Tae Yal Jaeon. But why is the woman in front of me not the grand cultivator of the first step before the throne, but someone uninterested in Tengwa paintings, who has not even shaved her head as a nun should? Where has her proud demeanor and her simple, unrestrained spirit gone? Is the woman in front of me the strange one? Or was the previous being known as Tae Yaljaeon in the last cycle in existence somehow, possessed, by something? Rather than feeling pity for this woman, I am filled with an unknown fear, raising my vigilance to the maximum and ready to end my life at any moment. Glaring at the woman before me, I ask. I have a question. What method have you learned?